concerned, they can.
We have started almost, like about to go.
Sure. Great, Devo. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening. My name is Satrajit Sahni. I welcome you all to this platform. We're just, Devo, should we wait about 10 more seconds?
No,
maybe
start.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Hi guys, good evening. I'll start with a brief introduction of, I think everybody knows why we are here, but still, welcome to the Alumni Connect hashtag Ask Your Alum series by NavKiran. NavKiran is an initiative that is run by alums of top B schools of the country. We aim to provide quality and affordable mentorship. To give you a brief context, last year we mentored more than 1,000 mentees across 50 plus B schools through our flagship NavKiran Gurukul program, fondly known as the NGP. Right now we are working with 250 plus industry experts to work towards our mission of transforming over 10,000 careers by 2023, right? I'm going to be your host for the evening, and later on, I think when you guys join, I'm hoping to be a host as well. My name is Satrajit Sahni. I am a pass out for the batch 2017-19. It's heartening for me to see all the young faces who are going to become soon part of the community that we call GIM. To give you a very brief background to myself, I am currently a consultant in native world, that is. I look into the enterprise technology SaaS vertical. GIM was, for the lack of a better word, turning point in my career. Well, obviously it had to be, right? I was a fresher, fresh out of BBA. That should give you some sort of a context. But more importantly, I think a lot of who I am today is to do with the college. And I'm sure 2 years down the line, I hope at least some of you get to take away something very serious. Yes. Before I go on to explain the flow, what we are doing today, let me very quickly open up the floor to our eminent panelists, most of which happen to be my own friends, my own juniors, my own seniors. One thing about GIM that remains constant, I think, throughout, and I think you guys are going to experience it more than us, is that we are a very closely knit community at the end of the day, right? So very quickly, today we have Poulami, Biswas, Navneet, Rathi, Divy, Patel, Shrishti Bhatt, Harnish, Doshi, Saket, Gupta with us. I'm going to quickly throw open the floor to these guys. They will introduce themselves. Poulami, if you can go first.
Sure. Thanks, Satrajit, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Poulami. I'm also from the 17-19 batch, same as that of Satrajit. We were batchmates. Similar case, fresher out of college, a BCom pass out from Mumbai University, right after which I joined GIM. So the main aim of coming to an MBA school, MBA B school, was to get into corporates. That's the only motive I had, for which I started preparing for CAT, etc. So I took up HR as my specialization. My summers was also an HR internship program, and I landed up also in a HR role in my final placements. The 2 years of GIM had been full of, it was a roller coaster ride. There was serious points. There was lots and lots of fun. And of course, 2 years in Goa has to be brilliant, right? And we are a part of GIM, and we have a very good alumni base. We have a very good professors, and the student community is excellent. So hope you all enjoy and have a great life during these 2 years in GIM. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Poulami. Navneet, if you can take over from here.
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Navneet Rathi, and similar background, I think, commerce, BCom honors, and they're from, so I have a little different story in the term that I was pursuing my own business before I came into MBA, and then kind of decided to know more about doing business and, you know, just more than your mom and pop store, your retail store, how things function, how things work in the background, how companies make strategies. And when that thought got into my mind, and then came the afterthought of doing an MBA. And also, so I'll be honest when I say this, that I was going to Goa first and to GIM second, but later, I think it turned around, and now whenever I go to Goa, I land in Goa. I think the first place that I go to is GIM. So I think that will happen with most of you in the coming years. And my background right now is that initially for 2 years I was working with Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance, and that was not my first preference as a placement that I wanted. So after a couple of years getting experience in the BFSI sector, switched to Asian Paints, and now working as unit head in Bangalore North region. So that's a bit about me. I think we'll explore more as we go ahead. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Navneet. Divy.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Divy Patel. First of all, thank you NavKiran for having me. So I'm HCM 1719 graduate from GIM, and I did my bachelor's in biomedical engineering. And post my BTech, I worked for 2 years with IMEC Corporation with the medical device consulting firm. And while working only, I got to realize that I can top of my technical skills with management expertise. So then I realized that I have to go for MBA, and being one of the best courses available in the country, the HCM in the GM, it was no brainer for me. And during my MBA, I interned with Hinduja Global Solutions, and in finals, I got placed in Boston Scientific, and currently working with the same organization as a territory manager.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so very much, Divy. Shrishti, over to you.
Hi guys, I am Srishti Bhatt. I am from the 1820 batch of PGDM BDA. So given my background, I was an electronics and communication engineering graduate, and I worked at Ericsson as a network engineer for almost 3 years, post which I wanted to just turn my career towards a different path, and that's when I joined the PGDM BDA batch, the first batch, 1820. And I did my internship at eClerks, my summer internship. I had a good experience at eClerks. And my finals, I got placed at Lowe's. And it's been almost 1 year. I've been working as a data analyst in the merchandising team at Lowe's India. So that's about it. I hope I answer as many questions as I can and help you guys. And most of you, I hope you join the GIM family. All the best.
Right, Shrishti, right on the nerve. Harnish, if you mind taking over from here.
Hi guys, hi everyone. So first of all, thanks NavKiran for having me. It's a pleasure meeting you, all of you. My name is Harnish. I have done like most of you have already done. I have done BTech in Information and Technology from Gujarat University. After that, I joined a startup based in Ahmedabad. I worked there for 2 years, and then realized that MBA is needed to further career growth. Without MBA, at that time I didn't see much of a career growth without an MBA. So I decided to take the CAT. Ended up applying for lots of colleges. Got calls from lots of colleges, and ended up doing my MBA in GIM. I did my summer internship with Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Basically I'm a finance major. That's why people go into Motilal Oswal. It's an equity research firm. So after that, I got placed in a company called Northern Arc Capital. Back then it was IFMR Capital. Now it's Northern Arc Capital. But the role was based in Chennai. And quite frankly, I wasn't comfortable living in Chennai for a longer period. So fortunately enough, I tried to switch very early in my career, and I ended up in as a risk analyst role in JP Morgan Chase. I worked there for 2 years with JP Morgan. It was a great experience working there. Then I switched to another investment bank called Société Générale. It's a France-based investment bank. And I'm currently working as a risk specialist with the risk management IB division with the firm. Yeah, so that's me.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Harnish. And I think last but not the least, our in-house hybrid of the group, Saket, you got to go.
Hi everyone, and thanks for having me here. So, like most of other people, I did my BTech in a computer science in from LNMIT back in 2014. After that, I worked for like over 3 years as a software engineer, and at that point of time, I was not feeling. I didn't want to have a technical career through and through. So I decided to switch up gears and do the CAT thing and get into an MBA school. Uh, I applied to many B schools like most of us do, and got calls from quite of them. Eventually ended up choosing the GIM because mainly the Goa factor. I think that was a big thing. And but once reaching in GIM, like getting there, you realize that Goa is secondary part. First, the primary reason becomes the college itself. So I had a blast of 2 years getting to know everyone, and unfortunately, my second year was kind of ruined by the COVID situation. But at least I had 1 year in Goa. So, and now I'm working at Infosys as a financial a consultant, and I hope to see most of you become part of the GM family.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Saket. And I think with that, we've introduced our panelists. Of course, once again, we thank NavKiran for hosting this and kind of giving us a platform. Very quickly, guys, I'm going to walk you through how we are structuring this program for the evening. Of course, I am also going to lay down a couple of rules. So just bear with me there. Relax. It's not going to be one of those extremely serious, boring, non-happy, non-smiling professor lectures. It's not going to be anything like that. We are going to take up very relevant topics, even if it seems illogical and stupid at times. We are going to take it up anyway, right? The idea behind the entire session is to leave you, if not wiser, at least well informed, and if not fully equipped, somewhat poised to take on what is coming next to you, right? So I'm just going to quickly walk you through how we are seeing this evening. We're going to start with how life in GIM is, because that's one of the major parts I think everybody who's joining an MBA needs to know, especially when with reference to the college and with specifications to the college that they are joining at. We are going to have a hard look at the internships. Of course, that's one of the quickest things that occurs in GIM as we move ahead. We're going to also talk a little bit about profile building, what your profile should look, what specializations, what companies, so on and so forth. Certifications being one part of it, what you should do, what you should not do, how, do they help, do they not help, all of that. Life projects, of course, what role do they play? Is it important? How do we cope up with it, so on and so forth. And we're going to also have case studies, competitions as a topic, since a lot of you did indeed ask us about this. And towards the very end of things, we are going to throw open the floor for live question and answer sessions. That's how briefly we have structured this. Once again, requesting you all to, if possible, of course, to switch on your cameras. We are live on YouTube, so grab your 15 seconds of fame as I am, and I really like to hear the sound of my own voice. It's a good voice, right? But yeah, anyway. So having said all of that, once again, I welcome. We do have a set of very, very, very common queries and questions that have been repeatedly coming to us. So we're going to start there. There are 2-3 things that you guys can feel free to do so. In the while that we are having this conversation with our panelists, if there are things that occur to you suddenly, if you have an epiphany out of sorts and you think it's very important for you to put out that question, feel free to write us on the chat link. If you're listening to this on YouTube, which essentially means that I am famous, feel free to write it out there as well. And yeah, just communicate, because believe it or not, as most of the people said, this is going to be a lot less about MBA and the nitty-gritties of it. It's going to be more about your MBA and your experience in that MBA, right? So we're going to keep it very Q specific. We may appear to be people who are giving you maybe a 30,000 feet of view कि oh my god इन्होंने तो कर रखा है अब तो इनको सब पता है. बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं है. We were very confused, we were extremely clueless, and we were extremely blank when we came up here, right? We found our way, and I'm very sure that you guys are going to as well. So with that, and on that note, I'm going to start off, but I'm going to ask the most common question. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, I think, that is, why do we, and this is to specifically Harnish, because Harnish had 5 to 6 different colleges to choose from. So Harnish, tell us, what made you choose GIM? What was that factor that weighed in GIM's favor more than other colleges that you had? Talk us through that journey. Talk us through the decision-making process, if you will, because I'm sure that the people listening to us also are in some sort of a dilemma on that front.
Yeah, sure, Satyajit. So as you already mentioned that we were also confused back then, right? So I was no better. I was also confused, confused like hell. So at that time, what used to happen was all the colleges which we applied to, they used to call us in the campus for the interview. I mean, I don't know. Right now, they might be coming to their panel, might be going to the cities, different cities to take the admission interviews. But back then, I used to, meet a lot of. I used to go to a lot of campuses for the interview. So one such was TACME, then KJ Somaiya, SIBM Bangalore, SIIB Pune, and GIM, and a few other colleges. So obviously, IIMs were the target for the MBA, but yeah, I mean, everyone can understand that, right? So yeah, I mean, all of the other colleges which I interviewed for, I got the converts, but as I said, I went to the campus, right, for the interview. So the moment I went inside the GIM campus, that was the biggest trigger point, that yeah, this is the place where I want to be for the next 2 years of my life. Because very frankly, very honestly speaking, it was a beautiful campus, far better than all the campuses which I went for the interview processes. So that was a trigger point for that decision. Having said that, yeah, I mean, apart from campuses, there were a lot of other criteria to be chosen from. I talked to my mentors back there in Ahmedabad. So I'm from Ahmedabad, so I talked with my mentors. Somebody very senior recommended me to go for a very old brand in the business, which was because GIM is there for 1993, I guess. So it's a big brand. It has a strong Alumni Connect. Yeah, I mean, these are the reasons I chose GIM, and unfortunately, the decision was very good. I mean, I realize it now, right now, that okay, yeah, that decision was one of the best decisions that I took at that time. Having said that, amongst all the confusion back then, this was the best decision that I took, and it probably gave me the better fruit in my future. I mean, I'm living the life today because of my MBA in GIM. Yeah, so that answers. I think that answers the question.
Harish, just one last thing we would like to reiterate upon. You mentioned that, of course, the campus was a trigger point, and then that was, I think, more towards the aesthetical side of things. If you could also mention how else you spoke about talking to your mentors. How else did you decide to go for it? If you can touch upon 2-3 different factors which helped you differentiate, that will be helpful.
Yeah, sure. So when I say mentors, it includes a lot of people. I interacted with senior guys from all the colleges. I tried to contact them on LinkedIn, tried to have a chat, informal casual chat with all of them. Then tried to contact the professor. And I fortunately enough, I was able to contact one of the professors in GIM. And yeah, I mean, so those kind of, I was fortunate enough to get the good advice at the good time. So yeah.
I'm sure. And also, if you guys notice, Harnish had this wistful look on his face when he was talking, like, "Ha, ek professor se to baat ki thi maine." That's the kind of attachment that you develop. I think this is not just GM specific. Let's be very honest. You go into B school, you kind of have that immersive experience to your self, and then you kind of develop that sort of a connection, which we all hope that you have. But yes, thank you so much, Harnish, for that. I'm going to jump into the next best question that we have, and Saket, I think you are up for this. So you remember how when I introduced, I called Saket a hybrid among us because he legit had the best and worst of both worlds, right? So he was there when it was online, and then he was there when it was offline. So Saket, tell us, how was the experience? I'm going to come to the various parts of this question, but first tell us, how was it? You had half of online and half of online. Walk us through that.
So it was, I don't know how to put it other than weird and stressful, and not that, like, good and bad both. Like, it's a mixture of that. So the offline part, like the first year we had the campus life, which is what I think is, one of the most important part of an MBA is the group learning or the peer environment that you have, where you are sitting and brainstorming together or just having fun. So that's like, you learn how to connect with people and talk to people from across the whole country. And the second year, which was the online part, having to experience the virtual learning thing, and I think that was kind of, that sounds bad and sounds boring, but it was good in the sense that now, since all the work is being done online, so that kind of helped me to get into that mindset of motivating myself to keep doing the work that I'm supposed to, because when you are on the campus, everyone around you is doing something. So just by seeing them or just by being around them, you also start doing stuff, be it acads or being sports or being like whatever. But when you're sitting in your home, in your room, right, so it's very easy to get lost or feel demotivated. And so this 1 year of online education kind of helped me prepare for the online working environment that we have right now, to keep myself motivated enough to keep on working. And hopefully the situation resolves soon and we are back to normal life and things go back. But yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think wishful words spoken right there. But do tell us about the first 3 months. I think a lot of you people who are listening to us, and I see a lot of faces. Thank you so very much again for connecting with us here. But Saket, tell us. I think every one of us has their own versions to this question. But since you are the newest member in this so-called alumni committee, do tell us, how was your first 3 months? How grueling was it? How did you come up with it?
So I'll be honest here. I'll be like, first 3 months were hectic because you are all of a sudden thrown into like between group of people who come from all over the country, who they might not speak the same language as you, or they're not as they're not as good at Hindi or English or whatever. And then since it's a 2-year course, like, so it's a very fast track kind of thing, right? Like in as compared to BTech or BCom you guys had done, like I did BTech, it's very chilled out or laid out, there is a lot of time, ample of time, 4 years to get your things in order. But in MBA it's 2 years, and you join in June, July, and then 3 months down the line, there are you are going to be sitting for companies for the internship programs and everything. So the first 3 months are grueling. You have to get in line in terms of having focus really quickly. But having your friends or having peers who are equally clueless as you are helps a lot. And I think after a couple of months you find your groove, you find the thing, okay, I'm good at this, I need to work on this, and you discover all the hotspots of the college or outside the college, and yeah, then life goes on pretty smoothly.
Right. I think that captures the essence of it. Not going to spend a lot of time here, but again, to everyone who's listening to us, guys, remember, this is going to be post-graduation, right? To people who have work experience, they already have some sort of semblance or some sort of an exposure to what is life outside college, right? All of us were, and I think I speak for all of us here, all of us were extremely naive in college, right? For the lack of a better word. This is a different ball game altogether. This changes your perspective, your thinking, your potential future in a lot of ways that in the first 3 months you don't realize, right? And what typically happens is that you spend the entire maybe I'm exaggerating, but yeah, I mean, once you join, you're gonna experience this for yourself. The first year goes sleepless. I'm not even kidding about this. In the entire first year, you hardly get sleep. Okay, so everybody who really loves sleep, you got to cut down on the romance there. Okay, so that's advice number one. Advice number two, it's going to be sheer hard work. For at least for me, I don't look like the type of person who puts in a lot of hard work, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. Okay, especially for people who relate with me. जिनको ज़्यादा आदत नहीं है, who are like, हाँ ठीक है, it's gonna be cool, I'm gonna smart my way out of this. You're not. You're not going to be able to smart your way out of this. It's going to be a lot of dedication. It's exactly what Saket said. It's going to be a lot of gruel. It takes a toll, right? You're not in that frame of mind. You've been in a frame of mind where at the bare minimum you got 3 years. At most, if there are people in law or people who have pursued medical, it's going to be 5 years. This is 2 years. At least work of 4 years crammed in 2 years, right? So it is going to take a lot. At the same time, you're not alone, right? Everybody, every one of your peers is doing this. So there's a collective inspiration in this, right? मतलब किसी का अगर C आ रहा है तो chances are that there are 18 other people who got C and you're like, चलो ठीक है, maybe I'm not that bad, right? There are at least 20 of me out there, right? The point is you need to find your people. You need to find, like Saket mentioned, you need to find your spots, very important. And you need to find your way, right? Not in the first 3 months, but over the course of the first year, these are the 3 things that you need to find. I'm going to quickly bring in Divy into this because Divy, among us, has the special distinction of being from the healthcare management program. Divy, I would want you to throw some light upon the healthcare management program that is offered here. Of course, to everybody, again, listening to us, this is one of the flagship programs that GIM offers. I think Divy would be the right person. Divy, if you can take over and talk a little bit about HCM.
Yeah, sure, Shatraj. Yeah, so let me start with the importance of the healthcare system first. So many people may feel that healthcare as a sector is just about hospitals, but actually it's just a fraction of it. There are pharmaceuticals, there are medical devices, IT companies are there which are into the healthcare verticals. Insurance companies are the diagnostic companies, public health as well. So all these are a part of a healthcare system, and it's a sunrise sector. Obviously, even before the COVID, now after the pandemic, this is the one area where the government will focus and invest the most in the coming decade. So it's one of the most focused area right now. And coming to my experience, it was like a roller coaster ride. It has been most integrated HCM program, healthcare management program across the country, arguably. And there are many electives are designed in such a way that you get enough exposure in your area of interest, be it the devices, be it a marketing, be it insurance. And apart from academics, also there are so many things to do, so many things to explore in the campus. So let me tell you about myself. So I have been a sports person throughout my life, and have been a part of divisional level cricket tournament in my state. And in GIM we have a dedicated sports club called Prayas, which organize the different sports events across the year. So I remember that first year our cricket team got into the finals, and unfortunately we could not win against our seniors. So next year we came with a full guns blazing and won one of the flagship tournaments of GM. That's a Basanti Cup. So based on my performance, I got the man of the match as well as the series award in that tournament. And those days, those finals, those winning moments, still I relish them as one of the best ones. So those are these are your 2 golden years. So guys, make best out of it, and just live each day of your MBA. Don't worry about the outcome. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and I believe you only go to B school once. So just live each and every moment.
Sure, Divy. Thank you. That was I think we're gonna come to that again, I think. But in the meantime, I would like if you can talk a little bit about the course HCM and how it prepares you ahead. Just very briefly. I don't intend you to give away all the secrets over here. But
Yeah. So as I mentioned, it covers almost all domains of healthcare. It's a pharmaceutical, medical device, healthcare insurance, healthcare IT, everything. So it's amalgamation of all these domains. And as I mentioned, you will have to select a particular, but based on your interest, you have to select your electives. So you will get ample courses available during your 2 years during your MBA to get the skills of a particular domain, be it a device or be it a pharmaceuticals. So many electives are available. Unlike marketing, you have a branding and digital marketing. In a healthcare, we have a particular electives available for each and every domain. So faculties are also there to teach you all the domains. Expertise would visit your campus, and you will get to learn from industry experts as well. You will get to work on a live projects. You will get to work on summer internships. So I believe this kind of learning opportunities will make you market ready in the healthcare segment.
Right. Thanks, Divy, so much. Also, guys, Divy was not lying when he said he has been a sports person all throughout. We used to play cricket. I don't know if you remember. Yeah, we used to play cricket. You can't shy away from it. And yeah, he used to be a damn good sports person at that. So yeah, whatever he said about himself, he wasn't really lying about it. Yeah. So you got a check as well. Okay. All right. One of the things that the mentors and my peers wanted to put across, and I think this was primarily looking into the number of people who still who are facing issues in switching off the camera. You're gonna at the end of the session, we are gonna all have a picture, with, of course, taken virtually, but yeah, nonetheless, a picture with us and us with you guys. So again, there's an added incentive for you to kind of, brag about, yeah, we know alums all over the place. Yeah, 17, 19 se leke 15, 17 tak. So yeah, again, that is an added incentive. It's also live on YouTube. Let me just reiterate that. Oh my God, I'm so famous. Okay. Shrishti, last but not the least, and this had to be a question, right? We have been pondering over this over and over again. Big data analytics in GIM as a part of the MBA batch. I could not have hyped it more in this tone of voice. Throw us light on this.
I just hope I live up to the hype that you created in the question. But yeah, it is the talk of the hour. Like everybody is talking about analytics in the world. And GIM was one of the first few colleges who came up with this kind of course, which basically builds a bridge between the business and the technical knowledge, basically. So when I started, when I came across this program first, I tried to gather as much knowledge as I can, went through thoroughly through the curriculum, what they offer, what they want us to be. So it was one thing that was very clear that throughout the course, we need to have the technical knowledge to basically solve the business problems. It's been I'm pretty sure if anyone who's still wanting to join this course, they would have gone through the online sites, and it's always it's everywhere it's highlighted to create data fluent managers, and that is exactly what happens. What they teach us in the 2 years of the course. So we have ample amounts of business courses as well, the basic knowledge of business, and then there's the technical courses like R, Python, and then there are courses where we actually use both the knowledges to get the job done. So I would say that BDA actually gives a platform and it gives a clear view of the analytics world. So when I say analytics, it's kind of very vague. You have people as data scientists, you have people as data engineers, you have data analysts, business analysts. So basically, once you enter the course, they give you a clear picture of what's what, and you kind of figure out. So there are a lot of professors, you have a lot of industry people visiting, and you get a clear picture of basically where you belong, where you think you can fit into perfectly, and then you can pursue it through or go through with further in that domain as well. So yeah, it actually helps a lot to be there and just go through with it.
Srishti, of course, I know this better than a lot of people here, but you were the first batch of BDA, right?
Yes.
And you guys were essentially the guinea pigs of BDA, right?
We were the experiment.
Yes. Tell us a couple of good, quick incidences that you took as key takeaways. I mean, it necessarily does not have to be professional, you know. You could keep it very generic, extremely funny, or, you know, whatever you feel like. But do tell us the highlights.
The highlights of the course was basically...
or your experience, either way. If you
okay.
don't want to highlight the course, that's fine.
Sure. No, the one thing that was a continuous thing that happens throughout the 2 years is us complaining about stuff to the management. Since we were the guinea pigs, since we were the experiment, we had a lot of feedbacks to give it. And the good thing about it, the management was always open to our suggestions, and it was implemented with this junior batch. So that for whatever we gave, whatever feedbacks that we gave after 1 year, those got implemented with our juniors, and it turned out to be a nice thing. Having said that, yes, the experiment did have all the bad outcomes as well. So the things that we figured it out were the positives for the next batch, but we had to do a lot of things on our own as well. So like if I say the course structure, so some subjects might come before it and you might not grasp the whole knowledge, because the basic of which is you might be learning in the next term. So some kind of these problems we did face, but as far as I know, it got changed and tweaked into in better ways. But overall, the professors, the management are always open to us. Like with any amount of doubts you end up with your professors, they will get it clarified. And yeah, it was a good experience, like considering all the negatives and positives. Except for academics, if I have to highlight the points, it has to be the overall life at GIM. And Satrajit, I can see that smile on you, but you know what I'm talking about, because the experiences that we have in GIM is unparalleled about. You cannot compare it. Anyway, it's a fully student-driven campus. So yeah, you are always doing something or the other. You are participating in something. You're being a part of something, not just academic-wise, but even the fun-wise. And it never stops. Like you actually legit do not have time to take a break or sleep or anything. So that was overall the fun part of my MBA, I would say.
Awesome. And I think I'm just going to take up a couple of questions that have been shot my way. But yes, we're tentatively at the end of the first part. So life at GIM, we summarized it right from joining the college to what you should be expecting. We covered a little of HCM, we covered a little of BDA. I hope most of you guys are not asleep. I also hope that most of you guys are in some way, shape or form slightly more motivated to take up the college, which we so dearly want you to be a part of, right? I see very good, nice little kids nodding their faces, but really guys, there are tons of things that we want to say to you, but we are kind of holding it in, you know, it's okay, it's all right, ye log khud jaake dekh lenge, and so on and so forth. But don't be mistaken to the fact that this is going to be once in a lifetime kind of a thing. Most of us, if we go by the industrial statistics, 92% of the people who pursue some sort of a postgraduate program do not opt for another postgraduate program, right? So it's very safe to say that this is going to be your last leg in your education. That's one. Second, it's good. I mean, the entire motivation, apart from, of course, the functional aspects to it, should be to make it one of a kind, right? That's what we are hinting towards. I'm going to quickly, again, thank you so much. There have been people who my personal chat. Again, if you think this is in some way needing some sort of a direction correct, you want me to make it a little more something, anything really, feel free to drop in. There have been a couple of people who've told me that it's been good so far. Thank you so very much. I mean, all hearts to you guys. All right. I'm going to quickly jump into what I think matters most. And I already see Navneet and Harnish very, very diligently kind of looking forward to this session. Yes, we are going to address internships. We are going to address summer internships. So very quickly, okay, I'll start with the youngest of us. Saket, tell us, how did you go about, since you're the most fresh among all of us who's done our summer internship in GIM, so you're going to relate to this batch a lot more than we are. We seem like dinosaurs, or at least Navneet does. No, I mean, you look good, man. It's just that age-wise, you get it, right? Yeah. So Saket, do tell us how did you go about your internships? If there's anything you would want to tell the incoming people, go.
So when I came into GIM, so I had this clear picture in my mind that this is what I wanted to pursue and this is what I didn't. I was kind of said that I don't want to do an MBA in marketing or HR, and nothing against those guys. It's just not my cup of tea. So I was kind of torn between ops and finance. So having that kind of picture helped me a bit. I talked to some of the seniors and got to know about like what companies come in these domains and what are the things that they look for. One of the things that they told that I got to learn was that when companies come for internships, they're not looking for people who know stuff, because you are fresh. Like internship season starts 3-4 months after joining the MBA, so you barely know anything. You actually don't know anything. You are just you have just entered the MBA world, right? And whatever you have done before is not much used to the companies, because it's most of the time it's a change of stream completely. Like for me, I was an engineer, a software engineer. So me working in a finance firm, they have no use of my software, like the technical skills that I got from an engineering degree. So they said just focus on the subjects that are taught to you in the first term, and be good with the concepts, the basic concepts, because that is where the companies will grill you in terms of asking the questions. Other than that, I guess that was the biggest learning point. Yeah, just being good with the concepts and the subjects that were taught in the first term. Those really helped me out.
Right. I think, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, because anything more is going to reveal a lot too much. But Harnish, let me bring you in on this. Tell us, of course, did you apply to all the companies, or highlight the so-called strategy to internships?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as I mentioned, I did my, before MBA, I worked for 2 years in an IT startup, right? Software startup. So when I was, tempted to choose the companies which I apply for the summer internship, automatically all the IT companies I filtered out because I didn't want to, go into any of the IT companies. So I was, personally, I was very choosy about the companies I wanted to be in and the profile I wanted to be in. Second thing is by that time I already decided that okay, finance is the thing I wanted to pursue. So profile wise also, I started narrowing it down to few companies which are providing the good profile, which are offering the good profiles, right? So technically, having said that, I ended up applying for very less companies in the campus. I did not apply to all the companies. And that was maybe the reason that, and I mean, it's my fault also because I didn't apply in all of the companies, and that was maybe the reason that I ended up, because I was very choosy of the profile for the profile. So I ended up applying outside the campus, and ended up having the internship at Motilal Oswal. So yeah, it was very good for me at the end, because I wanted the profile that I got the profile which I wanted. Motilal Oswal is a good brand name, and it would eventually help me, in my final placements and stuff. The project I did there was on equity research. Was also very, hyped up topic. Equity research itself is a hyped up topic when you talk about finance, right? Because back then, when we started our finance MBA journey, a lot of people were talking about getting into equity research roles. A lot of professors also, we have a on-campus club, Vinidan, which specifically does this equity research thing. So, when you get into the campus, you'll have a feel, okay, you'll have a feel that a lot of finance majors are going towards the equity research profile. So I was also one of those guys who wanted to be in equity research. So I was happy that I got the profile outside the college. It doesn't matter if it's outside the college or if it's from the college. It's what matters is what you learn from it. Because at the end of the day, learning is always the thing which matters the most. So yeah, that was my summer internship journey in GIM.
Awesome, Harnish. I think I got a couple of questions since it's related. I'm just gonna very quickly. See, listen, guys. What you need to understand is that it's okay if you are not very clear on your specializations. Okay, you may be good in a couple, and we're gonna address this point. Okay, we're gonna address what happens if you think you're good in something, but you want to pick it up. But purely from a summer internship perspective, I'm gonna give you a very brief idea. I was a marketing majors, right? And I interned with Britannia. So to everybody who is interested in this kind of a sales role, sales/marketing role, listen up. But I'm not going to highlight the marketing journey into it. I'm just going to highlight the strategy into it. You need to realize that there is a certain way that competition works. Okay. Every field, every stream, every major specialization has its own nitty-gritties, right? For example, Harnish just spoke about finance, right? And he highlighted one aspect of it. I'm sure if we get right down to it, he'll be able to highlight different subdivisions within a core financial sector as well. Same goes for Poulami, who comes from an HR background. Same goes for Shrishti, who comes from a BDA background, so on and so forth. The strategy is very simple, right? If you think that you're interested in something, the first question that you're going to ask yourself is not what company do I want to get into, but what kind of a job do I want to get into, right? Your job defines your company, and your company kind of then, it's a mismatch really. Very early days, everybody understands where you're coming from. It's hardly 6 months into the campus. If you're a fresher like I was, you're clueless. If you have some sort of work experience, you still have some sort of a background to yourself. Okay, all right, this is the kind of work I would like to do. Irrespective of either, the first question you got to ask yourself is, what is the kind of work that I want to do? Once you have your work cut out for you, you got to look at what company can potentially give you that kind of a work. I was very clear that sales is probably where I lie. And then I looked at, what all companies turned up for sales kind of a profile. You look it up on your website, you look it up on the history, you talk to alumni, you get the feel and gist of it, right? So first thing, get your role very clear, right? Second thing that you should not do, and this is a strict no. Believe me, in campus, you're going to have a very hard time disregarding this point. So you're going to take it from me. Do not care about the stipend, okay? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that you should not be caring about is the stipend. It's a bad criteria. It's a bad criteria in 2-3 different ways. Different companies shape up in different ways. Different companies have different financial plans altogether, right? That does not define your caliber. That does not define your interest. It certainly does not define your career path, right? So do not concern yourself with the fact that I got a 11,000, 15,000, 20, 25, 30,000 versus somebody else got a 1,70,000, 80,000. So yes, it does feel good. Yes, it does feel bad. Okay, I'm not taking away that part of it, but that does not concern or dictate in any which way in which direction you are headed, right? get a clarity on the role, and that is not going to come easy. So focus on what comes to you very naturally. If you're a fresher, the only thing you should be focusing on, at least I was, and no, I wasn't, but I should have been, was your studies. Okay, you should be focusing on that. If you think there is one subject you really like, 90% of the times that's your calling. Okay, 90%. I'm leaving a 10% up to doubts. If you're an experienced guy, you know what work you want to, then you already have an idea. Then you are in a better space, right? And that is how competition is differentiated. There are always people who know exactly where they lie. I'm so sorry, right? They know where to go. They know what to do. Don't get intimidated. It's okay to be very clueless, okay? It's extremely okay to be confused. MBA kar rahe ho yaar, you're not running for, I don't know, you're not running for a research on particle physics. So chill, relax. It's going to be okay, right? But at that moment, it does not feel very okay, right? So you got to reassure yourself, ki, okay, all right, this is okay. It's, yes, it is a race. Does not mean I am running the same race as my next, right? As my friend. So just keep that in mind. Just the 2 cents that I'm going to leave you with. Very quickly, then I think been very patiently waiting. Poulami, you're up. And this is going to be an interesting one. First question to you: how does an HR shortlist students? What are the factors influence shortlisting? Guide us through this HR journey, because believe it or not, all of us are extremely reliant on HR for making a better future. So go.
Thank you for that last line.
Yeah.
Okay, so HR shortlisting. Honestly, guys, when companies are coming to B school, they are coming to pick up fresh minds. They are coming to pick up campus graduates. So I'll segregate this question into 2 parts. First is your summer shortlisting, and one is your final shortlisting. The summer shortlisting is not going to be a great lengthy process. Trust me. Most of the companies know what projects they have in their hand, and they come with the set criteria that I have this project, I can pick up this number of people, and they just want to interview you. So that CV shortlist, etc., just gets done. So while you're making your CV, you will always go through the JDs first. So make sure your CVs are very much in line with what the requirements come, because shortlisting is very much requirement specific, what the company wants at that point of time. So make sure your CVs have those what should I say? The key points which they are looking for in you, and if you're really interested to join the company, of course, that company or the role for which they're coming. And the second part is whether you get a gauge as a fresher or a work ex. I would say there are pros and cons in both the cases. Being a fresher, I have struggled myself during summer internships, because I really didn't have any talking points during my interviews. My interviews just used to get done by 10 minutes, 15 minutes time, and I'm like, wow, it's done. So make sure you have talking points in your CVs, and your interviews are glued into your CVs, and you make them keep speaking, so that they know that you are intended to take up that project. And also, if they are willing to give you a PTO, your job is done in MBA, because you're set for your final placements also. This is one thing. And the second part is some companies come with a lookout of having a work ex people, because I'll just give you an example. If today a company is coming for HR consulting role, and you have to work with certain software, they will never pick up me because I'm a BCom grad fresher. They will not want to pick me up. But they can pick up someone like Saket if he's doing HR, because he has got an IT experience of 3 years. So he gets picked up there. So don't get bogged down if 3-4 companies are going by and you're not able to crack it. Just hold on your nerve. Things will come up, and I'll tell you, GIM has also a very good relation with lots of companies. They keep coming up with variety of roles. Prepare yourselves, make yourself updated with the industry practices, read a lot of case studies, guys. It's for all, which at least for marketing and HR, I can speak for. I will not speak for finance and operations. Let that be taken up by Harnish maybe, and Shrishti can do the BBA part. But do a lot of reading so that you can go across your GBs, and your interviews will also go well because you will get a lot of talking points. So that's what I would say as an HR and how the shortlisting happens.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Just by the way, you're probably going to end up not reading a lot of case studies, but don't. Okay. Do read case studies, but you're probably not. So I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. After a while, you'll be like, "Arey, har roz ka ye kya hai?" I'm not going to read. I'm going to read like, okay. Here's 101 lesson number 1. Okay. Do what Poulami said exactly. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But you're gonna probably end up doing what Shrishti did and not read anything before the class began. Okay. So don't do that probably. All right. But okay, to each his own. We are gonna not limit your choices. See, the constitution says that you're free to choose what you want to. So main to koi nahi hota. Okay, all right. Having done all of so also you're gonna speak a lot of fancy words like I do because MBA does give you that kind of an ability. You're gonna faff your way across. Different colleges have it different ways. It's called GAS, globally accepted statements, or generally accepted statements. It's also called global in GIM, which is just sounding extremely high and mighty. Essentially, no substance, is just words, right? So you're gonna develop an art of it. See, Saket is smiling. I knew these guys are full of gas. Okay, no pun intended. Okay, all right. I am gonna bring in Poulami again. Poulami, I need you to talk about Infosys since you're still with Infosys and you actually entered a HR role. So just guide us through that journey, will you?
Yeah, so I joined GIM with the focus of doing HR because honestly speaking, guys, I started doing CA. I was a CA in the passed out person, and I just gave up CA because I wanted to do HR. And that's how my MBA journey started. So I was very determined that I need a HR internship project and I need to know what HR does in a company on a day-to-day basis. And I got a fabulous project also. I was in St. Govinds, and it was a very generalistic project which helped me gauge the different functions of HR. So after those 2 months in Chennai, in St. Govind, when I come back to GIM, it was a lot easier for me to select my electives in HR. I exactly knew what are my interest areas, which are the subjects I am going to look forward to, and what are my specialization in HR, which is going to be. And just when Satyajit says we don't read case studies, I'll tell you a fact. I never used to read case studies of any subjects, but there were few subjects I used to read. And that is what I used to do, all right? Coming back to serious business. After that, for my finals, I got selected in Infosys and I got into a COE role. I'm right now in the total rewards team of Infosys. So my background of ecom has just got matched with the requirement with which Infosys had come up with. And that's why I could bag it. There were also other companies which I was sitting for, but I knew I will never bag them because they wanted engineers then. And I'm not an engineer. So that's how my journey has been from GIM to Infosys. And even today, I'm happily in Infosys in the same role, doing great job. And I am seeing a lot of juniors also joining my team from GIM, which is a great thing. And I hope someone can join also from your batch to the Infosys in our team in the future.
Very blatant brand marketing, I must say, but okay, cool. That works, I think. This is sincerely not sponsored by Infosys, but chalega, koi issue nahi. All right, yes. We heard the HR end of things. Really, we are going to talk a lot more about specializations. That's a whole new that's a whole new can of worms. I'm not going to open up. But Navneet, I'm going to bring you in here. Talk about a few of course, since we are in this topic, do talk us through about what are some of the dream roles vis-a-vis companies that we should probably be looking at. Also, after Navneet, Shrishti, I would want you to throw light, because BDA is one of the question mark areas that a lot of people have questions about. Navneet, all yours.
Yeah. So I think some of the companies have been touched upon. So for example, Britannia is one of the companies that people look after, specifically people in marketing. Then you have companies like Asian Paints, who are a regular visitor at the campus and also offers PPOs to students that they deem fit, right? Then you have companies in other fields like finance. You have JP Morgan Chase. Then I think you have Northern Arc, which is also upcoming company and doing extremely well now. And yeah, so these are some of the companies that I can recall from the top of my head. Then you have, obviously, because BFSI is such a big thing in GIM, and our associations with life insurance companies, general insurance companies, and banks have been fairly long, right? So you have all the banks, I mean, from Axis Bank to HDFC Bank to Yes Bank, and insurance companies like HDFC Life. You have SBI General Insurance hiring. You have you name it, and that company we have from the BFSI sector, right? So, and offering various roles also. So if you are in marketing, do not limit yourself to being in a sales role or a marketing role. And I would like to, to start off, bust some myths, at least a couple of them right here, that grades are definitely not the thing that a recruiter looks for in a MBA student, right? So I think Satyajit just yeah, he unmuted. He wanted to contribute, I think. So grades are something that people will follow. People will want to let you also believe that that is the most important thing. And I dare this. I dare say this, that professors will want you to believe that assignments and grades and case studies are the only thing that is going to get you through this journey. But there are so many different things, so many. I would probably rate grades at 8th or 9th, and I don't even know what the 7th thing is, right? So that's where it falls in my laddering. So yeah, these are few of the companies, and I think some other people can contribute for their own specific roles.
Exactly. Navneet, I think something that you touched upon pretty important, and we do get a lot of questions here. Also, guys, again, goes out to everybody here, everyone here. Do the chat box is free. Do let us know how the session is going. Your constant feedback kinds of keeps us going, keeps us in a direction. But Shrishti, I'm just going to bring you in. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to bring you in because I understand the BDA internship process, and the companies would vastly be different. Also, Divy, if you can talk about your end of companies after Shrishti does, that will be really helpful. But something very important that came up was grades and the relative importance of grades in your placements. To be very honest, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 50-50 split. Okay, I'll be open as I can without giving away everything else, because I really don't want to be hauled by either of the alumni committee or by the place of home. But you're going to realize this very soon. There are certain companies who look for certain grade points, okay, who are going to ask for certain set of academics, who are going to ask for certain set of credentials against your name to kind of hold, get a measure of who you are. Not as a person, but as a professional who's going to be working for them. Realize the fact that every one of us represents a cost center for a company, okay? None of us come free. Every one of us is getting paid. So it is extremely right and justified for a company to look for the best that they can get. And the best necessarily isn't one of us, okay? That's mindset number one. Mindset number two, there are going to be companies who are going to value what you've done, what you are doing, and the potential that you bring to the table versus what your grades suggest and how good you are on paper, right? So it's a fair mix of things, okay? It's really not got anything to do with what you've done so far and versus what you're going to do. It's largely who you are in that particular moment. I have in my own batch, of course, Poulami is from the same batch and she can attest to this. Divy is also from the same batch and he can attest to this. we saw the best of people getting rejected by the best of companies. We saw people who we did not expect to get into companies. We never thought we were going to pick them up. It's not a question of luck. Okay, let me just clarify it right here. It's not a question of luck. However, it is a question of that particular moment and what you bring to the table, right? That can differ. That can differ in terms of age, experience, your background, your studies, your grades, right? So it's a mix. It's a mixed bag. Navneet, thank you so much for touching upon that academic part. I think a lot of people were getting anxious, largely to that academics part. Anyway, Shrishti, and I'm going to hand this over to Divy after Shrishti. Shrishti, talk us through how this is kind of different when it comes to BDA, and also guide us through what would be the typical companies that you would probably be looking at.
Sure, Satyajit. So I'll start with continuing the academics point. Yes, it might not matter who's scoring very high, who's scoring very low, but after a point, your knowledge does matter. At least I can say very specific to BDA, because ours very first filter is the technical knowledge. Even if I talk about the internships, the very basic stats knowledge is what they are going to ask you about. If you can't, if you can't even have that, it's something you're going to learn in the first 2 sems, and you are supposed to answer those questions. It doesn't matter if you are one of the top rankers or one of the bottom ones or whatever, but in the first interview or in the first step, so some companies have a direct interview, some companies have some kind of a technical quiz, the other companies might have a small kind of a hackathon or data hackathon kind of stuff. So they judge you based on your technical knowledge. So when they ask you a question, you need to tell the correct answer, and it's a technical round very, very clearly for most of the companies that come for BDA. After that, they might not look into your marks or any of that sort. They have some situation tests, basically solving a business problem if you have a data available. So some kind of puzzles as well that can happen. So it is not a generic process like a general PGDM one where your CV is shortlisted, then you go through an GD process and an interview. And so it keeps changing company to company in BDA specific. One thing that remains common is the technical round. They might have it in any form, but they will test your technical knowledge. Some companies directly test you for the SQL knowledge. Some companies just internships, it's going to be very basic. Obviously, as someone just mentioned, internship, you are not the know-it-all. So they just want the basic knowledge if you have it and you want to learn more. And so it's a pretty easy process. And the companies that come, you can opt for which you want to. So basically you have to sit for everyone, and you do apply. Since you want the internship, you do apply for everyone, and hopefully you get the one that you want. I ended up doing my internship at eClerks, and I got the retail and marketing projects there, which is something that I wanted to pursue in my second year as well. Going forward, the projects that I did in my internship were actually my talking points in the final interviews as well. That remained very, very firm for me, because internship was the point where I actually first had the experience of working on real data. It was the real projects that I'm working on, the problems that I faced, how I solved it, and the whole internship process. Basically, my final interviews did revolve around whatever I did in my internship. And I ended up, what I wanting to in a marketing job in a retail company as well. So internships have been that smooth. And mentioning some of the companies that come to our campus for BDA specific would be, I can mention like the good ones. If I have to say dream companies, it would be like Johnson & Johnson. We had GEP, we had Deloitte, we had McKinsey. Kantar Analytics is another one. eClerks is big on consultants. Then we had RBS, HDFC Life, if you're into finance and stuff. And all these come for specific analytics roles to BDA. For the BDA students.
Sure.
So that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Divy, of course, coming to you, and I'm sure you know this is going to be HCM specific. One of the questions, I think we get a lot of questions regarding this, is that how does internship work here? Is it the hospitals? Is it the pharma companies? Is it the pharma tech? If you can throw some light.
Yeah, so as far as HCM is concerned, please people would look out for roles like product management or maybe business consultant roles in IT companies. So few companies which offer such roles I always would be in demand. To name a few, Johnson and Johnson, as Srishti mentioned, Robert Boss is there. Zimmer Biomet offers product management roles. Medtronics, Deloitte as well. So also, I would like to give an advice to the upcoming batch that if you get the opportunity to work with your dream companies in your dream roles, please try to convert your SIP into the PPO, because many of these companies only recruit through SIP routes. So better you work hard and grab the opportunities. And coming to your second question regarding the roles offered, so pharmaceuticals companies would offer most of the roles in analytics domain, in the marketing domains. Same goes for devices. If you talk about the IT companies, so you would be working along with the business transformation function. And apart from that, many IT companies like Cognizant, Infosys, they visit the campus regularly and offer a business analyst role um, in IT domain for particularly healthcare vertical.
Sure, Divy. Thank you so very much. Navneet, I'm going to bring you in here. This is again slightly more subjective, really. But how do you deal with competition? There is really no way for me to sugarcoat this question. They at some level know that they're going to be competing with each other, if not against each other, right? How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. I think so. You know whom you are up against, right? When you see the shortlist, your first facial expression tells you how difficult or how easy your first round of elimination is going to be, right? But I think in the larger context of things, it really does not matter. In that moment, in that very moment, I think that interview process or that GD might feel like you are dealing with something that is out of your control. But ultimately, when you settle in, when you sit in your first interview or in your first GD round and you understand how things proceed, how things work, you will not feel that pressure of competition anymore. Because one thing that you have to be sure about is yourself, right? Yeah. So if I talk specifically about the summers, right, there is hardly 3 or 4 months time and then your company start coming to the campus. So you have not really known people around you. You know just your close ones, your friends and your peers in your specific class or section, and you do not know the whole batch, what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses. So all you have to focus on is yourself. If you are a fresher and is still on that journey of searching for your calling and you do not know what role or what company you want to go into, what you can know is about yourself. What are you good at? What have you done in your past, right? No things that will drive the interview, that will drive your process and will show that conviction that you have. So competition is going to be there. You are definitely going to be intimidated by a few souls in the group discussion rounds. And trust me when I say this, until you open your mouth, everyone seems like a demon, right? And once you open your mouth and you start, for lack of a better word, shouting, then things, take a different turn from there. So I think competition is there. That will always be there. It's not that these guys have not come, without competition, without cracking cats or CMATs or things like that. So they are, I think, grown adults, and ultimately in the fear or the big demon that is competition, that is, like people with experience. So freshers do have a little bit of a thing that they feel ki yaar humko to experience hai nahi, how are we going to turn up against these guys? They have domain knowledge, they have knowledge of what they want to do. But trust me, there are companies that are looking out for you, that want to hire you because you do not know what you want to do, right? They don't want to find people and make them unlearn and then learn things. They want people who are a fresh slate and then they can give you their learnings. So that's a bit about it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Navneet. I think that would give a lot of people a lot of reassurance, guys. Very blatantly put, you've been competing all your lives, even if you realize it or not, right? So this is not going to be very different from what it is. Yes, um, what Navneet said absolutely hits the nail on the head. That there are companies who look out for you. So each and every one of you, be rest assured that there is someone out there. This is going to sound so much like a dating advice, but there is one company who is going to look out for you. Okay, you just need to find. Oh my God, this is so romantic, but it's true. Okay, it's true. Now, what Navneet absolutely said, it makes a lot of sense. Um, Freshers have their own niche cut out. There are companies who are going to look specifically for you. And I can tell you firsthand that there are a lot of them who in GIM. I was a fresher, right? So I know firsthand that a lot of companies look out for freshers. To the ones who are experienced, I think this is the second question that I'm going to tackle, specifically directed at Saket and Srishti. I'm going to come to you guys. But yes, to people who have prior work experience, rest assured that there are companies who are looking to hire you simply because you bring in that much amount of expertise or a working knowledge. While we are on this, I see a lot of drooping faces, guys. Again, if this is making you sleepy in any way, our apologies. We are trying to make this as relevant and as well, for lack of a better word, um, exciting for you as we can on a virtual platform. So again, apologies if there's anything that we are missing out. Um, Requesting you to kindly switch on your cameras if you can, that is. Right. Sakesh, Shrishti, specifically to you guys, because both of you have had close to 3 years, 2.5+ years of experience. Um, Tell us, how did it help? If it helped you at all, was it a hindrance? Was it a supporting factor? Tell us your work experience with respect to the shortlisting process.
Um, Srishti, you want to take it up first?
Yeah, sure.
And Shrishti,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'd say
Saket, go. Okay, Shrishti, go. Yeah. Arey, chill. Anybody. Yeah.
I can talk about myself. My almost 3 years of experience. I thought of it as an hindrance while entering an MBA because yeah, that's what you hear from everyone. Like, oh, you have almost 3 years of work ex. You have delayed your MBA by a few years or something of that sort. But in my BDA specific, I can say it wasn't seen as an hindrance. Most of the companies do not do the CV shortlisting based on the points that are mentioned on CV. So they kind of approach you for the interview or some kind of test. So basically, I have the first filter is still gonna be me trying to showcase my knowledge, be it a form of a paper or a hackathon or an interview or that sort. So and if I can see from my batch, I think the people who had more experience were the one who were getting shortlisted a little more actually. So that's not generally what happens in a typical MBA, I would say. I'm not sure if it happened after in the next batches as well. But in any way, WorkX wasn't seen as more a WorkX or a little WorkX wasn't seen as a bad as a hindrance or as a negative point. Instead, I would say freshers had to put in a little more effort when it came to the technical knowledge thing. If you don't have an IT experience, more specific, not just experience I'm talking about. In BDA, if you don't have an IT experience, you're still very, very new to the whole analytics world. The whole technical knowledge from the scratch you are getting. So yeah, you might not get as many interviews. Yeah, it might take more chances for you to convert an interview, but it's still there. We had freshers from various backgrounds, very, very non-technical backgrounds, and all of them were able to convert eventually. So yeah, WorkX or no WorkX, it actually wasn't affecting that much. Having a IT WorkX obviously helped a little more, and except that everyone were basically judged on the knowledge in that interview session or in that hackathon or in that paper.
Right. Saket, your 2 cents to this.
So yeah, so like I think the best way would be like you and Navneet put it earlier. Like there is a company out there for you. So when it comes to WorkX thing, sure there are going to be certain companies and certain profiles. Like if a company comes with multiple profile, so they might have a particular work-ex requirement in one of those profiles that, maximum of this or minimum of this. But other than that, like personally speaking, I had over 3 years of work-ex, right? But I got intern, I got my internship at EY pretty early, like I think the second, like in pretty early season, just after a few days the placement season began. I got my internship at EY. So I didn't find that my having this much work-ex actually hindered me in any sense. There are certain roles for which you might not be eligible, but then there are certain roles which are specifically for you because you have that much work-ex. So it goes both ways. It's not really a big hindrance. More so, maybe if I am not sure, but I think for marketing majors, I think it's a bit more towards lesser experience side. They tend to prefer, generally that's what I have seen. It might not be the case with your batch or in the future, but that's what my experience was. But other than that, having too much experience, like having experience is never a bad thing. So that's about it.
Right. Yeah, I'm so sorry that happens. I'm slightly technically challenged that way. Okay. I'm just going to very quickly shoot a rapid fire questions because we've been getting a lot of them from YouTube, and it's only fair of us to take up all of this together. Okay. One of the questions that is asked is, how is operations at GIM considering GIM is considered inclined towards marketing? Okay. I'm going to take that up. I was marketing majors with an operations minor, and both of my closest friends in GIM were ops majors, right? Operations as a subject or a specialization, whichever you want to see it, because initially it's going to appear as a subject to you. Only when companies start pouring in on your campus is when it's going to become a proper full-fledged stream and specialization. Operations is all about hands-on, okay? I don't need to be an expert to tell you all of this, but one of the best things that happens in operations, and I think which is better than any other course except finance maybe, is that there is a lot of hands-on knowledge, okay? There is a lot of good, relevant, real-life case studies which are shared across. The professors themselves make it a point to be extremely relevant, update you with the latest technologies. Again, technology is not probably the word. They're going to make you aware of the latest practices. They're going to tell you about how the industries look at themselves while being in an operations role. Just to very briefly touch upon the processes, I'm going to cover this in one go, so just bear with me for a couple of minutes. When it comes to SIPs, the process largely remains the same, okay? Understand the fact that summer replacements are slightly different from your final placements, to the fact that summer placements are like a dress rehearsal, right? Before you kind of go out and do your final thing. So they typically take about the same steps as all companies. There is a GD round. There is sometimes an AMCAT, which is your common admission test, involved basic LRTI, mathematics, so on and so forth. There is a PI1, there is a PI2. It could be less, but it's definitely not more, right? And all of this is done in pretty smooth manner. You necessarily do not need to be a prerequisite expert in ops, okay? And just to talk about the companies, you got all the big names in this. You got GEP. I mean, of course, the rest you can look it up on the website itself, but somebody very specifically asked me this, and hence I thought I'll just answer this very briefly. Okay. Student exchange program. I'm just going to come to that. Bear with me, Komal. If you're still listening to us, just bear with me. Shrishti, you already spoke a little about BDA, so thank you for that. Yes. Divy, we want you to throw a little light on the KYHP program post this. So just be prepared. I'm just going to come to you. Like, give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to come to you with the KYHP program. Okay. How are the all right, this is going to be a very subjective question. How are the professors? Bhavya Jyoti, if you're out there listening to me, the professors are brilliant, okay? But then again, which student would you hear which will tell you the professors are not brilliant, right? But okay, let me give a very honest answer to this. MBA professors are largely very different from your college professors, to the limit that their in-depth knowledge goes far beyond the reach of their students. So these are people with publications, research papers, and other big stuff under their belt, right? GIM has all the requisites. We actually have professors who are not just renowned in India, but renowned world over, right? If you have to know, my advice would be to go onto the website and check out the profiles or LinkedIn. Those are the two relevant points. But yes, we got good professors. Irrespective of what specialization you choose, even if it's a young one like a BDA or a or a well-established one like an HCM, the professors themselves are extremely good, and individually they are known. So they have an identity outside GIM, which should speak volumes, right? Okay. BIFS, yes, we're going to touch upon this very, very briefly. We indeed do not have an alumni because the programs got started this year, so there is legitimately no alumni out there, but we're going to speak about this a little later. Okay. Sahil Singh wants to know, does the CV have to be company specific or the usual one? Sahil, again, if you're listening to us, we are going, this is in fact the next part of the session. We are going to come to profile building and CV making sessions. So just hold on to your breath for a while. Okay. What kind of FMCG companies can you expect? And there are a few more questions in my, okay, I'm just going to club all of this. Okay. Let me give you an idea about how this all rolls through. When it comes to FMCG companies, you got the big names, all of them across in SIPs. Reliance, Britannia, ITC, Nestle. You got a few others, okay? You got a few others. So basically all major FMCG companies also, the list gets renewed and revived each year, right? So this year, I'm pretty sure these four are going to turn up because these four are legitimately the big daddies of the industry, but there are going to be a few more as well added, right? HUL turns up, I remember, for marketing and for finance both, and there are a few others, okay? When it comes to the finals, you got the same people, same usual suspects, and a few others. You got Mahindra, you got Godrej, you got a few other companies also turning up for a marketing and sales profile. Understand the fact that mostly FMCG companies turn up for either sales or ops kind of a role. Very rarely finance, but there is a chance at that too. Johnson & Johnson, for example, turns up for BDA and HCM, right? So that would be an exception. But then Johnson does have its business unit spread all over the place, okay? Depending on how the pitching goes, and this is something that you're going to learn in campus, so I'm not going to elaborate on this a lot. But legitimately, all major names do turn up, okay? Somebody's posted on my chat asking me to highlight a slightly more about, okay, all right, I like this question simply because this is going to be a fun move away from the serious topic that we have. Okay, so clubs and committees, all right? Yes, yeah, see, everybody suddenly kind of took interest ki haan chalo padhai aur job ke bahar bhi kuch hai. There's a lot to it, okay? There is a lot to it. I think Shrishti touched upon this very early. It is a student-driven campus. I'm not even kidding when I say this. It is a student-driven campus. There is zero involvement in terms of faculty. There is zero involvement in terms of the administration. Of course, there is going to be some sort of an involvement. You can't write them out. It's not your college. It's their college ultimately. But at the same time, you get a lot of freedom, right? There are two sides to the coin, okay? There are clubs and committees for legit everything that you can think about. So 4 specializations, you got 4 core clubs. There is, of course, the placement committee, as you expect. There is a student advisory council that you would also probably expect. And then there are legitimately other sections and other things. There's a cultural committee. There is a photography club. There is finance. I think Harnish spoke about Vinidan. There is something dedicated to investing. There is a core finance club, so on and so forth, right? So life in the campus. I like this question simply because it's such a welcome break. Life in campus is going to be a lot of hustle bustle. I'm not kidding. Okay, guys. You're not going to get enough sleep. That's what up you earlier. I think probably you were thinking, oh my God, itni padhai hone wali hai. Not really. पढ़ाई तुम्हारी 50% होगी. The rest of the 50% that eats your entire sleep is all of this. So there's clubs, there is committees, there are meetings, there are activities, there are events, there are tons and tons of things, okay, that you need to coordinate. And believe it or not, your seniors are going to make sure that you coordinate, okay. There is no smarting your way out of this. We've all been there. We were all juniors and then we all became seniors. The trend continues, the cycle continues, the chain does not break. Initially your seniors appear they appear straight from the underworld, really. But I think as and when you kind of go to the second year, you kind of take on their roles, and then you're like, acha, this is how it rolled. So you're going to make the transition, you're going to make that journey. That journey teaches, believe it or not, all of this adds value when you go outside, okay. Initially when we were in campus, we never realized where this is adding value, because it seemed like you're clicking photos, you're doing this, you're holding meeting. What is this coming to? It does add value. You meet people that you don't agree with, you meet points of views that you don't agree with, you try and agree with a lot of disagreements pulled together, right? So it teaches you how to build consensus, it teaches you how to get along with each other, it gives your entire personality a big boost. I really cannot sell this any better or any more, right? So when you kind of come to campus, vis-a-vis when you kind of have your induction virtually, the people that you're going to interact with, the clubs, the committees that you're going to interact with, they're going to give you a much better idea. Can I give you an idea about hostel life? Of course I can. I can give you an idea about a lot of things. I'm just not allowed to, right? Okay, hostel life is a roller coaster, but that's the most generic answer. See, this is what MBA is going to do to you. You're gonna give a lot of generic statements. Okay, residential campuses themselves have a certain value. Why? Because there's a lot of things which are happening that you need to be a part of by physically being present, right? So we're going to talk about how the MBA experience is affected now that you guys are going to probably join virtually versus when the campus opens up. But hostel life, if I don't know, a lot of people in their UG life may have spent lives in their hostels and they have been away from home. To them, people who have already had a so-called hostel experience before, it's going to be vastly different because this time this is more ordered. You're going to be sharing a room with someone who is far more serious, or at least as serious as you are. If you're lucky, he's going to be more serious than you. If you're not, he's going to be a little less serious, which kind of puts the ball in your court. So you got to plan out your activity. There's going to be nobody. And believe me, there's going to be nobody, no professor, nobody who's going to tell you what to do, when to eat. You've already been there, right? Freshers, people who have not lived out of their home, people like me, it's going to be a sea change. It is going to be a differential that you're going to carry throughout your life. You're going to be suddenly responsible for your own self. Independence शुरू में बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है. उसके बाद मतलब वही वाली बात है, you choose independence and then independence decides कि okay, I choose you now, okay, and that is when kind of the tables turn कि अच्छा, you cannot be partying till 5 in the morning if you have classes. No, you can be, okay, all right, physically telling you can be, ha, theek hai, okay Navneet, yeah, I got you, you don't need to, yeah, okay, a lot of opposition, theek hai, you can be partying till 5 a.m. and you can attend classes at 7:30. You should not be. That's what I wanted to say. सबके सब ऐसे ना क्या बोल रहे हो? हाँ, ठीक है, okay, you can do that. Don't do that. You can, however. ठीक है, can defines the ability. Apart from this, you're going to be responsible largely because you need to understand that most B schools in India, especially GIM, are largely secluded from the main city, right? So that's going to bring a different kind of an isolation. You're going to be in a campus with 500 or 600 souls who are not known to you, right? That brings its own loneliness, that brings its own set of challenges. If you have a awesome friend circle like I had, like I think all of us had, you're going to tide through it like you never have. If you are a lone wolf, you're going to tide it even better, I think, because then you have pick and choose of the different friend circles you want to go and party each night. Mat karna. Don't give yourselves a break. हाँ, ठीक है, okay, कर सकते हैं. See, I amended the statement. You can, you probably shouldn't. Okay. that's the fun part of it. I largely covered what I can. To give you a brief idea, I think both Shrishti and I were in the Student Advisory Council. Shrishti happened to be one of my favorite juniors. She can tell you a lot more about me than I probably should. And
Are you sure about the favorite part?
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember. My first year, I don't remember being the
I'm just gonna
favorite.
mute you. Pata hai kya? Haan, just yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. Poulami, on the other side of things, this is the side when we know how it feels to be in a club. Why don't you tell us about your experience? Because I think people would want to know that, since you decided to not be a part of any of this.
Yeah. So, guys, I was not a part of any of the clubs. I really don't remember the count of the clubs and societies that we have at present now. But I was in none of those. I was very sad initially, let me be very honest here, because I couldn't make it to any of my clubs where I've applied for. But gradually, you get your group of friends and your friends will pull you, "Arey, ye kar dena, wo kar dena," because they are bogged down by the seniors and you have to help them out, okay? Especially the cultural club people, they work day and night for the events. You've got to help them. So these are small things which we do. Apart from that, coming to the serious points with Satyajit says, you get to learn a lot of things because coordination, collaboration, getting things done on the timeline, getting an event done within a given budget or resources or the timeline, you have got a lot of stuff to meet. Those are the key takeaways from the clubs which you can always put back in your corporate life, which I didn't have. But I would say I have enjoyed my peace of not being in club. And I have dedicated myself to some of the small projects which I could do. And that's how I have been. And I got to explore more of Goa than this day, that I can say. And I got to sleep a lot, okay? I slept nicely. That's another thing, because I didn't have sleepless meetings at night.
Awesome. That probably gave away a lot more than I thought it would. But yeah, okay, great. No worries. Navneet, you were furiously nodding your head, right? Yeah, go ahead. This is yours. Go for it.
Yeah, so I contested when Satyajit said that you cannot party and then go to the
I said you shouldn't.
Because you can, and in all likelihood, if you end up at the campus, you will, right? And I think you also should, not always, but sometimes, because that experience. So I'm not, this is nothing specific about any clubs or any parties or anything, but that will happen. That will eventually happen to you, right? And be alive to the fact that you have to be there, you have to be present in the moment. There are going to be very many things happening, and just ensure that you take it all in, be part of as many things as possible, have stories to tell after you leave.
Thank you so much, Navneet. Divy, I'm going to bring you in because people are getting a little anxious about a couple of things with respect to HCM. One of the first things that I want you to highlight is the KYHP program. Very briefly, if you can. We don't want to give away everything, but yes, just touch upon the program.
Yeah, sure. So KYHP, that's known for Know Your Healthcare Provider. So it's a part of HCM curriculum in your first year, where you are exposed to practical learnings on the field. So every Thursday, a group of students along with the faculty will go to various healthcare setups like hospitals, pharma units, maybe device manufacturing, diagnostic labs around the Goa. And they stay there whole day. They understand the operations. They observe the operations over there, take up the live projects with them, and students just apply their management lessons over there, help these setups to overcome their challenges, their bottlenecks in their operations. So you are solving real time problems with which ultimately makes you industry ready when you get out of the PGDM.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Divy. Moving on, Harnish, I'm going to bring you in here. Okay. There's a two-part question, really. How do you build your profile for finance? If you can answer that. And then a lot of aspirants want to understand the importance of CFA and how does that relate into. So if you can briefly tell us.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as I said, I was confused, right, during the very start of my MBA thing. So, when I interviewed for the MBA, I actually interviewed for the marketing profile. So, my entire interview for all the colleges went on to, me doing the marketing in MBA, MBA in marketing. But in the first 3 months, there will be ample of opportunities where you'll realize yourself that you will know yourself better. That what are your strengths, and what are the things you're good at. Because during the first 3 months, I realized that marketing is not the thing which I would want to pursue, and that time is very special because at that time I realized even that thing reflected on my grades also, right? So I got very good grades in all the finance subject. I was very much involved in the events of the finance, in IB events or finance events. I was reading too much about the finance. So I mean, I would want to touch upon the importance of reading because I feel that it's a little underrated, because when companies are going to come and they're going to take the group discussion, the main thing will help you is your reading, right? Because I remember in one of the interviews, I think it was JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, I don't remember, one of the companies, they gave the JD topic of Argentinian currency crisis, and I knew the three words separately: Argentina, currency, and crisis. I didn't know about the topic at all. Okay, so it's very important to read because no company will ask you, how much grades how much grade you're getting, what are your records are. But they would definitely, they would definitely want you to know about the current stuff which is there in industry, which is going on in the industry, right? If you are interviewing for a bank, you are expected to know the current affairs of the bank, right? So these are the things which are more important than your records and other things.
I mean, also we would want to know, is CFA a must-do thing if you want to pursue a career in investment banking?
I would not say it's a must do thing, because a lot of people I know from my batch, they got very good profiles in IB, but they didn't have any CFA or FRM or anything like that. It's a personal choice. I mean, if you know yourself better, then you would realize that this is the thing you want to pursue, or this can actually help you build your career. You shouldn't do CFA just because you can, these guys are doing it or those guys are doing it. That's a bad thinking process, right? So you should do it if you feel from your inside, if you feel that this is going to help you. So I mean, I won't say that CFA is a must to get a role in investment banking. It's just your learning, and at the end, what you bring to the table, your learning matters, right? Your reading matters. So yeah, that's that for the CFA certifications. Because even I didn't come. I mean, start CFA during my first year. I started in my second year, cleared level 1 in my second year. And that eventually helped me. Of course, it eventually helped me in my final placements. But thinking that he's doing it or she's doing it, that's why I have to do it. It's a bad thinking process.
Right. Thank you so much, Harnish.
You're on mute.
Yeah, my bad. That's me being technically challenged. Okay. Shrishti, I'm going to come to you post this. There are a lot of media questions pouring in. Okay. Sahil Singh, if you're out there listening to me, does the CV have to be company specific or the usual one? I think it's a common question that is out there. Understand the fact that CVs have nothing to do with companies, really. Okay. A CV talks about you. It talks about your experience. It talks about the work that you have done. It talks about what you bring to the table. To put it in a more harsher way, it talks about things that any company or organization will pay you for. It's really that simple, right? So I'm not going to talk about the format, but yes, to answer the question, the CV does not need to be company specific. However, it has to be very you specific. what do you bring to the table, what kind of skills that you have, what have you done in the past. To freshers, this seems like an intimidating task, simply because you believe, I used to believe this, that there's not a lot that I have in my CV that will add to any company for any sort of evaluation, but that's not true. Sometimes, and like I said, sometimes companies are looking forward to the fact that, you don't have any existing knowledge and you can be molded into the clay pot that we want you to be. People who have work experience, you need to be very concise. You need to be very precise on how you write a CV. Of course, all of that is going to be taught to you. There are separate sessions that are held once you join the program. So I'm not going to touch upon that. That's really a different story altogether. But no, CVs are very you specific. They are professional. They are specific to what you bring to the table. Another question on very similar lines was, okay, all right. So here's the right gap year. Okay, a lot of you, I think I'm assuming Sahil Wadhwa asked me this question. A lot of you probably are wondering if what happens if you have a gap year. Very honestly, putting this out to you guys, it doesn't matter. If you have a legitimate, okay, even if not legitimate, just something that justifies the reason for a gap, you're through. They're not trying to check. I mean, it's not going to be a capital punishment. You're not going to be hanged from the streetlight because you had a gap year. That's not how this works. What they're trying to know is why you had a gap year. If the reason is clear in your head, great. If it is not, then that usually means that you weren't doing anything substantial. Now, when I say substantial, it could be legit taking care of your parents, to preparing for your exams, to preparing for anything, right? See, understand the fact that if you took a gap year, 99% of you have a very good reason for picking that gap year, right? They just want to know that. It is purely a knowledge-based question. It is not a deal breaker. It is not in any way a roadblock, okay? So don't worry if you have a block year, or even if you have a couple of block years or more than that, okay? So relax, take it easy. See, companies need people, okay? It may not seem like that, ki, nahi, hame kaun hi lega. They need people. And believe it or not, you are the ones who are going to be needed by them, right? All you need to do is answer them in a way that can be justified. As long as your head is clear as to why you did what you did, you're good to go. Shrishti, a lot of questions have piled up, okay? But first question that is relevant is that how do you go about building your career in analytics and big data? If you can talk about, if you can also inculcate the CV aspect and the structuring part of it, it'll be a good way to go. Yeah.
See, I think building a career would be a very long short answer for me right now, because I've been working in for just 1 year. What I can say, for the past 3 years, of which 2 years of my MBA and a year of experience in the analytics world, you basically start with having interest. As simple as that. Do you really want to be in this field? It's a bit technical field. It's not a typical MBA. So do not expect you to land up in a sales job or an operation or a general MBA job. You're gonna end up being a consultant or a data analyst or a business analyst, or maybe if you want, you can even try for being a data scientist. So if you really want that path, do come to the college, and once you are the part of this course, the course will clearly make you understand all the different roles that one can pursue in the analytics world. It's not just I am in the field of analytics, I'm doing analytics. No, you can be a business analyst, handling the business side of it. You can be a data scientist, purely technical aspect of it. So it's a whole variety of it. And our course does provide you the base to learn all understand every single thing, and the opportunities of companies as well. So the companies do come with all the data analyst job roles, data scientist job roles. It depends on you what you want to learn and pursue towards, basically which kind of job you want. So that's about it with the jobs. And if it comes to CV and profile building, that has to be based on the knowledge. It's see, if you're doing a PGD and BDA course, it is expected that you are learning R, Python, SQL, and you don't exactly need another certification to just say that you know that course. Yeah, obviously courses and certifications are good. If you want, if you need them, you can take it up, but your degrees are already telling the recruiter that you know all this knowledge. So you just have to prove it to them. Once you are in the interview or once you are in the process, you have to show your knowledge. You have to, in whatever way that it's possible. And that's about it. Like live projects and stuff can obviously help in the profile building. Courses, if it's a fresher, you might want to put some courses and certifications. That is not mandatory at all, because you are already pursuing a course which gives you all the knowledge, so you don't need an extra one. It's up to you if you want to do the courses and certifications. But just have some nice live projects, internship projects, or anything real data that you worked on to talk in the interview. If you have an experience with handling the real data, your interviews are going to be really good. That's about it.
Awesome. Navneet, among all of us, you had one of the more engaging journeys, I think, because initially, if I read correct, then you were initially BCom, then you were kind of went to marketing, then you decided to join your family business, and eventually you ended up joining Amul, and that's a kind of journey that too while being a fresher. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, Navneet, why don't you tell us a couple of things? One, your profile and how you went about building a profile as a fresher, and then FMCG and FMCD, which is traditionally one of the more coveted paths. How did you go about the kind of traversing this entire space? What did you do? If you can talk about your journey.
Right. So I'll keep this specific to me. And so I'll be very honest, I had no plans to, join a corporate when I joined the college. I had thought that I'll gain some good knowledge, I'll know about the stuff, and then I'll come back and work in my own business. I'll start something of my own. But to be very blunt, MBA is not enough for you to be starting something of your own or working. Without experience, MBA is nothing, right? So that those 2 months of your summer internship, they kind of give you an insight into what is going to happen. And I, very honestly, I did not even pay the fee for the placement. And I had to later on, when I got prompted and my friends pushed me to take up an internship, I stepped out and I contacted some people I knew, and I landed up in Amul in Ahmedabad. So that's how my started. So I don't know where I want to be, in which company I want to be, because that was not the path I chose for myself when I started this journey. And being a fresher, it is not expected of any of you to know what you want to do, right? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Yeah. So what people with experience have lots and lots of stories about their jobs, about what they did, the projects that they did. What you as a fresher need is stories. And stories are going to come from your live projects. Stories are going to come from your intercollegiate competitions. I took part in a fair share of competitions of my own. I ended up with quite a few podium finishes, couple of them at IIM Ahmedabad and KJ Sumaiya. So you get to travel to these places, you get to get the mix of those colleges which you seem, this is a big name, but when you end up competing with them and winning, the confidence booster it is unmatchable, right? And that is something that is not going to be taught in class. You have to go out there, you have to ensure that you kind of take part in club activities. There was no club activity that I was not a part of, right? So be there. The whole point of MBA being on campus is knowing people that you might not have met. So I speak for most of us here probably when I say that undergraduate, we prefer to do it in a city near our home, or probably in the city that we live in, because it is possible to do that. And you have decent colleges. I'm from MP. I have decent colleges in Indore, and hence I ended up doing my undergrad from there. How do I put this? I had not met a Bengali soul in my life before entering a GIM college, entering GIM, right? And now I am a panelist in a company which is founded by 2 Bengalis, right? So that's how the journey transcends. That's how diverse it becomes, and you do not know people. You have preconceived notions about people from different backgrounds, from different geographies. Everything is going to get shattered when you are in that group of 6 people and you have 6 different people coming in from different areas of expertise, different geographies, and kind of giving in their input. Everything seems leveled, the floor is leveled, and you just
Navneet, we are losing you.
Am I back again?
Navneet, you're losing you. Could you just repeat the last line that you said?
Am I back again? Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So academics is one part of it. Most of it is what you do when you're not doing your academics, right? Socialize, make friends. These friends are going to get you into companies that you probably might not end up during the placements at campus. So me, for example, I ended up in an insurance company. I always knew after Amul that I did want to have a taste of FMCG before starting something of my own. And hence, after a couple of years, I tried my hand, and with luck and some knowledge of the industry that I was in, I landed a job at Asian Paints, and now I'm pretty happy about it, right? I've probably found a career here. So all these things are going to make you, and don't expect to be a specialist out of college in marketing or in branding or in operations. You are going to be a generalist, and the times ahead are going to be of generalists. You cannot be a brand manager or an area manager and not expect to know operations, not expect to know HR. You have to deal with people. You have to deal with a team of 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 people in your life. And hence, never, really say that HR तो मेरा subject नहीं है, एक class करनी है, करके मैं छोड़ दूंगा. There is definitely going to be learnings with your peers, with your groups, and the professors might seem boring at times, but the case studies do make it interesting.
Yeah,
I think I said a lot.
I think you've covered it beautifully. We are, of course, throwing the floor open for questions now, because I think we've kind of given away a lot of gyan anyway. Yes, Vanshika, tell us. I'm so sorry you've been... No, it's okay. तुमने हाथ ऐसे थोड़ी उठाया. Chill है. बोलो. What's up? What's question? Yeah, I think you need to unmute so that I can hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. I have a doubt. Like, you have suggested some certificate course. So the college will offer us some of the certificate course, or we have to, go through other platforms and then do certification and all.
Okay. I think I speak for all disciplines here, and feel free to correct me, panelists. There are going to be a certain number of courses which are going to be mandated to you by the professors. They are going to tell you exactly where you need to get what particular course from which particular website. So that's what you call on the house. Apart from this, if you think there are certifications that you want to do out of your own volition, right? Because you have you really want to learn or something like that. The college does not facilitate, because look at it in a transactional way. Okay, you're paying for the tuition, you're paying for the knowledge that you get out of the courses. So anything that you do outside is not really within the purview of the administration, right? I hope that answers your questions. The courses in question are going to be specific to the subjects that you pick up. So in your first year, you may have to do a course in finance. If you pick up BDA, there may be a few courses that are going to be thrown your way. So there are going to be questions which I think are going to be course specific. That will be told to you in the college. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yes, Maitri, you are next. Hi.
Hi, good evening, and thank you so much for this session. It was way more informative than I had hoped it to be. I have a lot of questions. So
yes,
the first question I have is, I have a background in humanities. I'm a Bachelor of Arts student and I'm a fresher. And I'm just moving on to HCM. I did have biology in my 11th and 12th, and I was into integrated bachelor's and master's science course, but I left it after 1.5 years. So primarily being from a humanities background, will that hinder my summer placements or my, final placements, considering I'm not a, life sciences or biology
We want
background?
to take this up since she's moving to HCM.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so again, it's very subjective. Most of the companies would be hiring for their healthcare verticals, right? So having work ex in the same domain would be a plus point. But we had a few peoples in my batch who are from the same background, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Commerce, and who bagged the offers from leading pharma device companies. So I believe that if you have the right skills and attitude, technical knowledge, anyway, they are going to train you on that. So your urgency to learn something, that is something they are looking for. So bottom line is yes, experience helps, but if you are a fresher and not from a relevant background, you can always build your profile around your area of interest by doing some live projects, by doing some certificates around it. I hope that answers your question.
I have a few more questions, if I may
Yeah,
ask,
sure, go ahead.
related to HCM. I was looking through the bulletin which was sent to most of the students, and while all other three courses, the curriculum was divided into term 1, term 2, term 3. In HCM, it was just management courses, healthcare courses, and elective courses. So I just want to know that all of that, including the international program, which a lot of PGDM core students go. Do the HCM students go for international programs?
No, so in our batch, no one had gone for an international programs. I believe right now they have introduced the program. I'm not sure about it, so I feel I'm not the right person to talk about the international program since it was not introduced at our time.
Okay, and is there any previous prerequisite knowledge which one should be having before starting up with the program, or it's just learning as you go through?
Yeah, so as mentioned, many people would be coming from different backgrounds in the HCM courses. They are from commerce, they are from arts, they are from engineering background. So there would be a fundamental course that would be there when you join the college. They will taught you basics of biology, starting from biology to all the medical terminologies, accounts, and everything. So you will get to learn all the basic things in that fundamental course upon which you can build your domain knowledge. So that would be covering the fundamental parts.
Okay. And last question, how's the food there?
So anyone there from?
No, Divy, no. Join the comments, find it out.
Live the experience and find it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Divy. Yes, Shri Harsha. Oh, wait, 1 second, Shri Harsha. I'm just going to come to you. Guys, just one little announcement before we move ahead. We have formally launched our flagship program, that is NavKiran Gurukul program, which is fondly referred to as the NGP by the P School fraternity, right? It is a 4-week have a personal mentor to guide you on your resume, mock interview, GD, etc. That is an initiative that is being taken up by NavKiran, the link of which and the WhatsApp group, etc. All the details will be shared to you, right? So feel free to sign up, ask your questions. I've also posted this across the chat box for your better. A lot of us are there as mentors with NavKiran, so you have a chance to connect with us on a very one-on-one basis. Apologies. Yes, Tushar, I'm going to take you up next. Hi, good evening. Tell us.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'll be joining BDA program this year. So my question is for Shrishti ma'am. Actually, I'm a fresher, first of all. I come from a CSIT background, and I'm working in a firm which has nothing to do with coding. Like I have no prior knowledge about anything at all. I'm working as a digital marketing executive. So I'm absolutely the fresherest of fresher they can be. So am I in trouble?
I can clearly say if you're ready to work hard, then you're not in trouble. As simple as that. You clearly know your profile. It has nothing to do with analytics, but now that you want to enter the world of analytics, you have to start fresh. You will have to learn everything. And half of the people reaching there will have to learn everything. It's not me coming from an IT background made me much more, easier for me. The journey was equally difficult for me. You have to learn everything. But yeah, it's going to be a little alien for you. We had people coming from BCom, from different backgrounds who had never even seen a computer language. It is difficult for them to learn everything, but if you can learn and grasp, so obviously it's a platform to start new. Shouldn't be a problem, but you will just have to work hard.
Any advices as such? Like,
work hard.
no, that's very generic, I would say.
Yeah, basically when you enter the course, you have to learn the technical knowledge. So you can't be scared about the fact that you will, from the very first day, they're using terms like Python or SQL or data. You haven't heard those things. If you want to be maybe at level with other people, why don't you just read up a little? I'm not saying you have to do full-fledged courses before you join a proper course, but now that you are very well aware that you are the freshers, maybe work on it right away. Start, and you're very sure that you're joining the BDA program. So yeah, so there are people who are going to enter from the analytics world, who are going to enter from the IT world. If you think you're going to be a little lagging behind them, start working on it right away. Sure, it wasn't ever a problem. We always had people, but yeah, some had to work a little more than others.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Shri Harsha, yes, I see you. Good evening. Tell us.
Good evening, sir. Firstly, kudos.
I think you need to be a little more audible.
You have been running the show quite well, and kudos on that.
I have no idea, but it sounded like a compliment, so I'm going to say thank you.
Patrajit, he's saying you are running the show quite well. Congratulations, you're famous.
Oh yes. Okay, I'm just going to cut the bullshit. Yeah, tell us.
My question is specific to Harnish. Look, I come from a computer science background.
Louder. We were having... Harnish, can you hear him?
Yeah, a bit louder would be more helpful. But
okay. I come from a computer science background and I have experience of 4.5 years. So I want to take up finance as my major. So what are the unlearnings and learnings I have to do before getting to college or after getting into the college?
Okay, so I mean, unlearning, you don't need to unlearn anything because being in a software technology background for 4 years itself is a big plus. Because right now a lot of changes are happening in the financial industry, because they are financial firms first, and then second they are technology firm, because a lot of financial firms building their own technology, right? So they want people who know finance and who knows technology as well. So in coming next 4 to 5 years, finance and technology, they will go hand in hand. So it's a great thing if you have 4 years of IT experience and you want to do a finance thing. It would be very helpful. So you don't need to unlearn anything as such. Coming to the second thing, if you read current stuff which are happening in the financial world, that would be more helpful, right? Rather than learning some technical stuff, because technical stuff eventually college will get you to learn. Right, you'll learn the subjects, technical subjects there, but also, apart from that, try to build your opinion on the things which are happening on the ground in the financial industry. That would be more helpful.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, Shyam, tell us. Very good evening.
Good evening, all. First of all, it has been a great session so far, and I'm really enjoying it. And coming from myriad of different perspectives and diverse kind of people who we have chosen for this session, it has been great. My question is particularly to Saket, I guess, if I'm not wrong, who has attended the online aspect of the entire experience of MBA. So the question is that how does one actually make the most out of the online experience? We considering the circumstances, we don't know how long it's going to be. But being positive, I hope it's for a lesser amount of time. So how does one make the most out of the online journey?
Saket, you're up.
So I would say that the most important part or would be to, commit to whatever is being taught in the class, because it's, since the classes are going to be online, like if that's how it goes on, then it would be very easy to, just turn on the video and, do other stuff like that we do, right, in any kind of virtual environment. So at that point of time, you need to make sure that you are actually paying the attention that that the subject deserves, and especially if it's a weaker, like if you're not that good in that subject. Other than that, make sure that you interact with your, batchmates, because since you're not on the campus and living together in hostels and doing stuff, so you are missing out on one of the important aspect of MBA, which is the uh, meeting new people and having experiences with them. So make sure that you connect with them via, have meetings or phone calls or WhatsApp, or like there are various ways to do that. So that really is, so the onus is now more on you, because earlier, living together on the campus, you naturally tend to do things together, but now it's onus is on you to take the initiative and, reach out to people, your batchmates, your seniors, to get to know things.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Saket. Thank you.
Devendra, for a bit we could see you, and then suddenly, I mean, we do see you now, but it's more on the suited side that we see you. Yes, Devendra Rajawat, tell us. You have, oh, I see, there you are. You have the kind of pic which will be extremely appreciated on LinkedIn. It's the exact picture that, yeah, but I need to be able to hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, I don't be the selfie guy, so no, that's my picture I have that funny or something.
No, it's an awesome picture. You're gonna, when you enter the second year, you're gonna realize what I said just now is gonna be worth its weight in gold. So trust me, you got a good picture.
Thanks, thanks for compliment. And my question is to Poulami ma'am, that actually I did my BCom in 2016, but I have low scores like 59.61. It's not just not cross the 60. So I get some feedback from my seniors as well as from mentors and my colleagues that might be will face some problems in internship. Some companies are not may you not allowed to sit in the interview or in the selection process for internship as well as for placement. So what can I do to build up my profile? Already I am doing many courses in LinkedIn as well as Udemy. So anything others can I do?
Okay, Devendra, as I think Navneet has also pointed this out, no companies come to see what percentage you have got in your UG or your class 10, 12, or what you're going to get in your GIM. Some companies do put a criteria of that 60%. Because they get so much of series, they have to shortlist people, so they come up with schemes of shortlisting that way. But I'll tell you for a fact, our HR groups in GIM over the years have been really small compared to the other specialization courses. So you will not get the problem, I think, of not getting shortlisted because of a very less BCom percentage or something like that. You have already started making your profile. That is fantastic. Honestly speaking, I never did it on my own. Being a fresher also, I never did it to make my profile up to date. But it's good that you have started doing it. You can brush up your skills. You can do some certifications. If you're reading, if you come with a background, with a work ex, are you with a work ex?
Yes, I have worked as in TCS for more than around 3 years. 27 months in corporate in banking finance and 7 months in around telecom industry.
Okay, so you have a work ex, right? So you understand the nitty-gritties and what are the requirements a corporate life is all about. So you can obviously think which part of HR you want to vouch in. I can give you a gist. The first year of your MBA is going to be very generic. You will not get much of HR subjects at all. Make sure you bag a good SIP. That SIP will help you a lot because that SIP will be your talking point in your finals. So bag a good SIP, brush up your skills, and that will be helpful for you in your final placement also. And if you have any specialization that you want to get into HR also specifically, I don't think you should have. Keep yourself open. But if you have something like that, there are many courses in Coursera and Udemy. You can always do those. And the professors are brilliant in HR. Okay, let me speak it out. You can always get their guidance also. They will help you in that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Akhilesh, next is you.
Hi guys. First of all, thank you so much. Such a great panel, and it has been such a good opportunity for me to attend this. So I was actually writing.
Or are you saying this because you actually mean it?
I genuinely mean it, because I was kind of apprehensive about like what's going to be there in this meeting today, but it really turned out to be really good.
Bus. Ho gaya.
Networking.
Go on, tell us.
I'm just building my network.
Absolutely. Achha. Oh, chalo, theek hai.
So I wrote down a few questions throughout the session. I think a lot of them got answered, but okay. My first question is somewhat in the line of Devendra only. Like he said, he had less marks. Even I had less marks in my graduation. And secondly, I have a work experience of more than 4 years. So how much of a disadvantage are people who are in the longer spectrum of the work experience? How much of a disadvantage are they when sitting for placements? Are the companies going to shortlist people on the basis of like only 2-year experience, 3-year experience, or
what
are they
specialization are you, or at least what specialization do you think you will be?
I really want to decide. I was going to ask this as well, that how do I decide my specialization? But I am more inclined towards marketing right now. And
where have you worked?
Yeah, so my 4 years of experience has been in the debt securities market.
Okay.
And but it was not core finance. It was more of a sales and marketing job of financial products.
Right.
So yeah, so that way I found myself to be very much eligible to get into core marketing or core sales or whatever. So yeah, that's my point. So how much of a disadvantage is going to be?
Okay, I'm going to take this up myself. All right. Couple of things really, Akhilesh, and this is only, I'm giving you the answer from a marketing perspective. Okay, I'm going to throw this open to Harnish as well, just in case you do decide to specialize in finance, since that could be a possibility as well. I'm just keeping it alive, right? Okay, so if you got 4 years of work experience in marketing, understand a couple of things, how the Indian market works. FMCG companies typically do not take experienced professionals. It's always been a norm. This is uniform across B schools. It is nothing GIM specific. Okay. Having said that, there are a lot of IT firms which specifically come in looking for sales or at least sales related roles with people who have previous or prior work experience. Okay. So your profile fits. Your profile, to me at least, not necessarily fitting into a FMCG role. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, how you decide your specialization. Okay, if you're confused about it, this is going to sound like a very ambiguous answer, but be confused. Okay, you don't need to take a call. Do not get pressurized into taking a call just because you believe there is a certain direction you have already been set upon. Okay. Keep your options open. Understand that whatever specialization you choose, you got to study those subjects before you get a job. It's like a step-by-step process. Aisa nahi hoga ki tomorrow you choose a specialization and the job comes flying your way. No, you got to go through the journey, right? So you may be extremely good in sales and marketing, but your financial core and the financial fundamentals could be very strong. So logically, you could be taking up actually a financial subject, right? Coming to your question, but from a finance perspective, Harnish, if you could throw a little light on this.
Yeah, sure. So when you say experience, there is relevant experience and there is non-relevant experience, right? So as Satyajit said, FMC regarding the FMCG, but I can say for finance, if you have a debt securities experience in India, equity is 10% market and the 90% market is debt market, right? So and there will be a lot of companies on campus who will provide the sales role for finance. A lot of banks and insurance companies where your experience would be a relevant experience. Okay, coming back to the second part of your question, where in which you're confused whether to go for a finance or marketing role. Don't worry about it. As Atraj already mentioned, that stay confused, because college will give you ample amount of opportunity during the first 3 months to realize your strength. Right? I was one of the same. I had one of the same doubt as you, because as I already mentioned, I interviewed for MBA for marketing, and I ended up doing it in finance. So first 3 months, you'll end up learning all the subjects, be it from finance, be it from marketing, be it HR. So then you will have the ample amount of opportunity to know your strength in actual terms. So that's when that will be the best time for you to decide. Right now, if you are confused, there's no problem. Okay. But after 3 months, you will not be confused. Believe me.
Yeah. So it's all right. Don't stress yourself out on this. As Harnish said, keep your options open. Go through the journey. Give yourself the chance to go through the first 3 months, and then we'll talk if you survive the first 3 months. Okay.
Yeah,
No, you will. I'm not trying to scare you.
I have a few more questions.
Questions? Okay. All right. Go on, please.
So like you said, the FMCG people are not going to entertain me. That's all right. What about other companies? For example, does Asian Paints come under FMCG? I don't think so, right?
Navneet, you want to take this up?
Yeah, so it is FMCG/FMCD. So you can consider it both. It is definitely considered in FMCG also.
All right. So because my question was basically, for example, let's say I don't have 4 years of experience, I'm a fresher, and Asian Paints comes for the placement. Let's say I am a commerce graduate. I don't have any background about chemicals or paints or whatever they do. Don't have any technical background. I'm not a BTech person. Are the companies going to shortlist people on the basis of them being engineers or non-engineers? Like, for example, Asian Paints, are they going to be like, oh, we need a technical person because we are dealing with chemicals and we should know some knowledge about
Wait,
chemicals?
1 second. Navneet, before you take this up, understand this, that companies don't look, okay, your shortlisting happens on the basis of your job, not on the basis of what the company is into. If I'm shortlisting somebody in pharma, I don't need him to be a chemical engineer. I need him to be a good salesperson, maybe. Okay. If I'm shortlisting somebody from, let's say I'm a TCS, I don't need a coder. I just need somebody who understands the hardware and tomorrow can go and pitch to a client, listen, this is the cloud products that we got. Are you interested, right? So your first part of the question, that core expertise or the subject matter expertise is not required. Navneet, you want to take up the second part?
Yeah. So I'll just put in some facts. I have people from my batch, from my junior batch. There are people with experience that have gotten. There are people who are freshers that have gotten. There are people from science background, as in the engineering background, that have gotten. There are people from commerce background that have gotten. It completely depends on your experience of the interview, your experience of the selection process, and what the company is looking for, right? If they find that in you, you are definitely going to be not a problem because of the experience that you hold or the, so I'll tell you my example. When you said that you have a debt securities background, that is a niche that is, so I have an insurance background, and people call me up, my colleagues from previous companies and the juniors, to ask me, how did I switch? How was it possible to, move from an insurance company to an FMCG company? And there is really no rocket science to it, because the people who are taking the interview are smart enough to understand that the technicalities or what you learn on the job is not the technical part of it. It is the skills that you garner in the process, right? So your team handling skills, your aptitude, your patience level, all these things, your logical ability, all these things are going to matter, and not your experience, what you bring with you. It is definitely going to help you in the process, but that is not going to be a baggage, that I can assure you.
Okay, that's quite reassuring. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, can I just put one last question?
Akhilesh, I'm gonna wait. Akhilesh, if you could just write it out, we're gonna address this because we are slightly running out of time. All right.
Okay, no problem.
So
yeah. Let other people come in. Yeah, surely.
Yeah, or you can post on the group as well. I think all of you are on the group. We'll try and answer as many as we can.
All right.
Steve, I see. No, wait. Steve, before coming to you, I'm so sorry. Abhimanyu, very quickly to you and then followed by Steve. And I think we'll take up Praveen after that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello
Abhimanyu,
all.
tell us.
So my profile is like I have been working in IT sector for 3 years, and I come from like pure coding background. So what I look forward is to a profile where I can work very comfortably, like project management and consulting roles in the IT sector. So like I'm not sure about choosing my majors and minors right now. So I'm more inclined towards operations and having interest in marketing sector as well. So I think that I can choose marketing as well. So my question to you is, first of all, it's a twofold question. So like what kind of roles do companies come with for operation profiles? And the second question is like, do we sit in the placements with BDA BDA people and compete with each other? How's the placements going on there?
Okay. I'll take up the second question really, and I'll kind of invite answers for the first one. The placement processes for the three, or right now the four major streams or the four major specializations. When I say four major, I mean marketing, operations, HR, and finance as one aspect, HCM as other, BDA as other, and BIFS as other. These are four separate processes which take place in the campus. It has got nothing, it is not interdisciplinary, right? I mean, you don't collide with the other. It's very simple like that, right? So you will have your own set of people. Even in that, you're going to be competing. Since you asked who you're going to be competing with, you're going to be competing with people from your own majors background, nobody else, right? So if you do take up something like an ops mark or a mark ops, which is operations marketing or a marketing operations, whichever way you go for it, you're going to be competing with only that subset of people. It's not going to be HCM, it's not going to be BIFS, it's not going to be, right? That's the second part to your question. First part to your question is consulting kind of profile, okay? Subjective, the answer is pretty subjective, okay? Consulting as a profile does come to campus. Companies like Infosys, IBM, there are others who do bring up consulting backgrounds and consulting profiles. Wipro is one of them. I think Wipro moved to a PPO profile, but Wipro used to be one of them. There are others. There are 7, 8, 9 companies. Mahindra is one who bring up consulting profiles. There are banks, Asia, Axis Bank, so on and so forth, right? So when you ask me whether consulting as a profile does come up to campus, yes, it does. Is it the path for you to go? That will be decided by the majors you take up, right? So not all consultants do all sorts of work, right? Consultant from an operations major is very different from a consultant from a marketing majors, is very different from what a finance consultant will do, right? So consultant as a profile does turn up. Since you got prior experience, that's going to be very helpful in your favor, that much I can assure you. Your majors will define the rest of your story. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a small quick question there. What sort of majors? Like I'm not sure about, how to go about. So we'll be experiencing it in the first 3 months. That's what you
ideally, yes.
suggest?
So everybody who is
Alright.
confused, I think Harnish and Navneet pointed it out.
Yeah.
It's all right to be confused, guys. Give the first 3 months. Let you get the taste of the subjects that are going to come your way, and then you kind of get to decide a specialization. Yeah. So
Okay,
give
yeah.
yourself that space. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Steve, yes. I'm so very sorry. You've been raising, but it's okay. You do not raise it physically. So chill there.
Hi guys, thank you so much for this organizing this talk. So I have a couple of questions. The first one is, how data-driven is marketing, and what exactly do non-tech background people need to cover in that aspect? And what is the relevance of? There are a lot many things that people suggest, like Python or Microsoft Power BI, Excel. So which one of these exactly do we need to learn and master in terms of wanting to get into the marketing field?
Shrishti, I think you can answer the technical aspect of this question.
Are you talking about BDA specific course?
No,
Just
PGDM. So I'm in the PGDM course, and
Okay.
in that, yeah.
Okay, so PGDM and technical is something I can't answer. I can answer the marketing side of it. Like as a marketing company or as a company, any retail outlet or something, they do have. Not talking about all the companies. So some of the companies do have their analytics team, and the things that you talk about is very different. So R and Python is required by a data scientist or an analyst to generate the reports. If you have to, or maybe get the data out of it in an Excel format. The dashboarding part of it comes to Power BI and Tableau. So if you get the job of dashboarding, that's when you have to work on these things. So I know when you see analytics, there's a lot of words that you keep hearing about, but every job role has different work defined to it. Not everyone is doing everything. So if you have to create a dashboard or a report, so yeah, dashboarding, then you have to master Power BI. Companies have their specific tools as well. But from the PGM marketing side, how do you enter the technical side of it? I wouldn't. Satyajit, maybe you want to take up the PGDM marketing part of it?
I'll tell you what, Steve, very honestly, the only tool, if you really want my honest opinion, I think all of us will agree on this. The one tool that is going to essentially save your life 50 years down the line and in the nearby future is going to be Excel. That's it. The moment you have Excel in your strong points, you're done. That's the one thing that you need. Nothing else really matters. I'm going to be sounding like Metallica, but honestly, nothing else will matter.
I'm from the analytics background, and even I'm telling you, Excel is the most of the work that you do it. So everything sounds fancy, and you keep hearing about it analytics, but the core work is done on Excel. You move out of it once you're doing something really big, which generally doesn't happen to everyone. So yeah, a data scientist or a data analyst will be working on Python, but if you care about the reports or the dashboarding, you're working on Excel. Everything can be done on Excel. It's just the easy way of doing it to write a code out of it. But yeah, Excel is something very, very main that you will be.
Absolutely. Focus on, since you asked this specifically, focus on Excel. Rest, everything will be taken care of. Okay. You don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
No worries. Vinay, I see you. Tell me.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for this amazing session. Yeah. So my major thing is like I want to be an entrepreneur. So what kind of environment or what kind of support is it there in the campus for them? And for this gist of MBA, I'm planning to work for 1 or 2 years in corporates. So and basically in marketing field. So what kind of roles I can look for, and what is there for me in that?
Okay. The campus, GIM is one of the few campuses in India which has what we call the Atal Incubation Center. Okay, it's a self-empowered incubation center, especially meant to develop ideas into startups and then into businesses, so on and so forth, right? So if you're really keen on this, you will get an exposure to that. There is a very specific set of professors and people who look into this, accessibility to whom you will have once you join the batch, and nothing's restricted to you. That's one part of it. Since you are going to be you aspire to be an entrepreneur, one of the things that I will suggest from my end, again, I think most of us will agree on this, that it's very important in your first year to get a taste of literally all streams.
Yeah.
Do not leave out anything, because most of us had it very easy because we wanted to enter into a job which is well defined, well set within borders. Yours isn't. Yours going to be transcending those set borders, right? So it's very important for you to have an exposure to all of this. In your second year, you're going to have entrepreneurship as a subject, as an elective as well. Another advice would be pick up subjects like entrepreneurship, new product development. Yeah. You will know by looking at those subjects, by the people who teach them, by the professors who actually will go on to impart that knowledge to you. You will have an idea about what to choose and what to drop, right?
Yeah.
Coming to your second part, what kind of a role that you should look for? I wouldn't call it a role really, but my 2 cents to this would be look for startups. Okay. They give you the best cross-functional exposure that is needed before kind of doing the same thing your own self, right? So look for startups. Work with a startup which will give you that needed exposure to multidisciplinary aspects of running a business. And yeah, couple of years later, do hire us, I think. Great. Awesome.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes, you switched on your camera. That is amazing. Tell us, Aditya. But you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. I have a question for Poulami again. Hi, Poulami. I'm a mechanical engineer and I have worked in natural gas sector for almost 3 years. But I have a penchant for HR. I'm not quite sure. But if I plan to do my specialization in HR, so what prerequisites I can prepare for, because it's a very different background compared to mechanical. Any thing you can guide?
No, it's absolutely fine. It's my voice again. It's absolutely fine to be a mechanical engineer and come into it. I have many colleagues. I have 2 of my colleagues who are mechanical engineers. Prerequisites, as mentioned in the previous few questions, please get your Excel skills brushed up. People will say, "Arey, HR hai kya Excel?" Please, we deal with a lot of data. It's a very data-driven domain, especially if you go to huge companies, if you land up in a huge company or even in a startup, day in and day out, Excel comes handy. Also, another course I would recommend any HR people who are out in the audience here, you can take up people analytics or HR analytics, which Coursera is providing. Why I'm recommending it, it's absolutely your choice if you get the time. If you get the time, guys, you will not get time in your first year. But if you get the time, do that because it's very much in demand. Even if you land up with a BPHR kind of a role, that course helps. Why I'm saying it's out of my own experience. So these are the few preparations you can do. And again, summer internship projects needs to be very good. Get as much as possible, experience learning as much as you can, and put it forward in choose your electives in the second year very wisely. We have a lot of industrial experienced professors who come for HR courses in the second year. Bag those because you get a lot of company related real life problems. Because HR, I'll tell you, it's very theoretical. You will sleep in most of the lectures in your first year. Honestly, I slept in most of the lectures. Second year is going to be more of a practical sort of basis because you know what you've done in your HR internship project. So choose your electives properly, and I think that will be enough for you to vouch it. And engineering, mechanical engineer, software engineer doesn't matter. Companies come with requirements, you need to pitch yourself in and get it out.
Also, we have one elective, I think it's counseling in second year or third year. So I have a interest in psychology also. I have done some basic courses. I'm still learning about it. So is there anything I can apply that in HR, or are there anything?
Absolutely. I think counseling is tagged as an HR elective in your second year. I didn't take it up because I was not having the space to take another elective. But that course is absolutely fun. It's really a good thing to learn if you're really interested in psychology. The professor is also very nice, so you'll get a good experience out of it. It's not very HR-ish. Let me be very frank. You will not get to do it in your corporates. You will max to max, you do a negotiation and mediation role, not a counseling. But that elective is very interesting, pretty interesting. So you can take it up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Right. Guys, I'm going to stop inviting questions now. The questions that I see on the screen are the ones that I'm going to take up. If you have more questions, feel free to put them on the WhatsApp group and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as we can. In the order that I'm seeing them, Praveen, followed by Rucha, Vinay, Pooja. I know we've been waiting for a while, and then I'll come to Akhilesh and Maitri at the end. Praveen, you're up.
Right. So I won't take up much of your time. I'll go straight to the question. I don't have that good CADs myself, and I'm a bit worried about the summer internship process. Harnish was mentioning that he had sat outside the campus for internships or for finding the SIP. So I'm just curious how that process goes about, and if you can give me some more information on that front, that will be helpful.
I mean, there's no rocket science. You go in the websites of the different companies and you apply, right?
Okay, that's about it. Okay,
Yeah,
and
I
this
mean,
is
you try to reach out to HRs on LinkedIn,
okay.
because that's how I got it. I reached out to a lot of HRs, and it's a very tiring process. I can tell you that, but you have to go through it. If you are willing to do it outside of the campus, you have to interact with the different HRs, and I mean they will eventually understand uh, your situation. But if you would be willing to convey it properly, then they would definitely understand it. So that's how I got it. I mean, I interacted with millions of HRs, but I got replies from very few. But you got to convert those, one of those very few, right?
Right,
So that's a tiring process, and you got to accept it.
Yeah, got it. Right. So it's just a free for all thing, as in it's your free will. You want to do that, and you can sit for placements outside the campus.
Yeah, for that, LinkedIn is I mean, very best thing that you.
Right. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Rucha, you're up.
Yeah, so firstly, thank you for the session, and I'll go to my question. So, right now, I'm a fresher. I haven't fully decided on what majors do I want to go for, but a little inclined towards business analytics and operations. So, for business analytics, I see that Shrishti is a good example of good that women are doing in this field, but I haven't seen so many women in the operations field. So if you guys could help me with that, I have also heard with few of my interactions that I've done with other people from these schools that for operation role, companies prefer males mostly, and that too persons with experience. So I am a fresher, I'm a female. So what is my scope in the field of operation?
Rucha, take up operations, break the trend, show us men that this is not just us. How about that? Yeah, but okay. Yeah. All right, Shrishti, you're up.
Okay, so I really don't know how to go about this answer, but if you're going to be a generic thing, yeah, the industry has more of men working than women, but the opportunity remains the same. If you have converted it, if you can gather the same knowledge, if you enter, you have to crack the same exams. The interviews, you have to go into, I'm not sure about the operations, but analytics is a sitting at office job. So I really don't see why a guy should be preferred over a girl or any of that sort happening. If you're going to be generic about it, yeah, maybe it's still there, and that's a different thing. But if you want to see you working as an analytics professional in any of the company, it's fairly open to everyone. It's the same process that a man or a woman has to go through. Shouldn't be, I haven't seen anyone being distinguished based on the gender or any of that sort. I hope it helps, but yeah, it's very generic when it comes to in analytics field.
Largely, just to continue to what Shrishti said, I think largely the perception dwells from the fact that operations traditionally evolved from industries and factory-based work environments, to which earlier women were not seen as tough as men, which is completely wrong. You ask me, I'm gonna be a chicken inside a factory, right? So that's so not the case. Okay. So if you are indeed if you ask me from a very objective point of view, it's exactly what Shrishti said. The opportunity remains the same, the process remains the same, the companies remain the same. If you're more capable than the others, you're going to get selected. It's very black and white like that.
And yes, as Satyajit mentioned, be the person and change the trend. If you think the boys have more technical knowledge and they're going to pass through it, it's not like that. You have the same technical knowledge. It's as simple. You read the same thing. You can do the exactly same thing as a data analyst that a guy can do it. As a data scientist that a guy can do it. It's as simple as that. Just do it. Learn it and do it.
Yes, Nike.
Yes. Yeah, let's do. Correct. And just one more question that in GIM, we also have an option to choose general management, right? Yeah. So if you can brief something about that, we have discussed all about the various specializations, but a little bit about general management.
Sure. I think I've mentioned this on the group. I don't know if you were there. Your specializations get chosen on the basis of your electives. Essentially, your electives give you a certain number of credits. There are certain number of credits that you need for a specialization to be considered your majors. and a certain number of credits that you need your specialization to be considered a minors. To give you an example, these are just numbers, random numbers. This could be very different. For example, let's say you need 18 credits for a particular stream to be considered your majors and 9 for a particular stream to be considered your minors, right? So your electives are divided into 5 broad brackets, right? So these are general management, marketing, finance, operations, and HR. So if you have 18 credits worth general management, then general management automatically becomes your majors. So it's very simple like that.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. Yes, Pooja.
Hello everybody. So I'm Pooja and I'm speaking from Bangalore, and I'll be joining the PGDM HCM program. So my question was for Divy sir here. I graduated last year, so which obviously puts me in the fresher category. And one thing I feel which is very important, I think, throughout our career is our CV, because that will be the first portal of entry to anywhere that we want to work. And I've seen a lot of alumni and a lot of students talking about the importance of CV and building on your CV even before you join the college. And as a fresher, we barely have anything to put in apart from academics and one-odd achievements that we have. So any suggestions or tips that you would like to give as to how should we what are the courses or what are the things that we should work towards to put into our CV before we go for our summers, to make sure that we have the talking points at the time of our interview?
Yeah, Pooja. So you rightly mentioned that CV is one of the most important documents that you may ever make in the B school. And what you require is curating all your highlights of your life in a one single document. And being a fresher, I would advise you to explore yourself in the first trimester at GIM. You will get to understand about various domains and the fundamentals in your first 3 months. So explore your interest, your liking, take up those electives which are in align with your area of interest. Get some certification around that, get some live projects. We have currently many platforms available online which are offering such a kind of live projects in each domain. So do that. And apart from that, you can also participate in case competition, inter-college competition around the similar lines. And I believe if you are interested into sales and marketing, you can do some certification like Google Digital Marketing and AdSense, which may add value to your CV. So yeah, first trimester, as I mentioned, is very critical for doing all this stuff and build your resume, because starting from September, October, the summer internship process will start, and by that time you need to build your CV in the right manner. So these are a few things you can do around.
Sure. Thank you so much, Divy.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And just any other suggestions that you would like to give apart from the academics as to how to sail through this program?
Initially, it will be tough for freshers or maybe coming from a different background to HCM. But as I mentioned, fundamental course is that's a very, very well planned, very well structured course, specially designed for people coming from engineering backgrounds, coming from BCom backgrounds. So carefully complete this course. Study well in the fundamental course, and you will get your base strong over from that part of the project. Apart from that, most of the things will be covered in the curriculum only. So you don't have to find knowledge from outside. Most of the things will be covered in the curriculum, starting from each domain, whatever. It's a pharmaceutical, it may be devices, maybe IT, everything would be covered in the course.
And so just one last question I had, once we get placed in companies, irrespective of whichever domain we take up, let's say if I get into a sales or a marketing role in a particular company, and I want to switch over to some other domain, maybe let's say operations or consultancy or something like that. Will that switch be easy, or is there any specification as to, how you shift through that by doing a particular course? Or is it flexible?
So I will say it's not that hard. I did my internship in IT field. I was working in with a project around around process transformation in emerging technology like robotic process automation, and I end up getting an offer from medical device sales and marketing role. So before that, I had no such experience working in the IT field, but I also got into the IT field for my summer internship, and from that I moved into devices at the end of the in my finals. So I believe if you have the right skills and attitude, you can play around these different domains.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, yeah. Yes.
Hi, thank you. Firstly, it was a very great session. A lot of queries had been answered. I just wanted to know one more thing. So I had been asking a lot of people, and many people told me I am Delhi-based, first of all, and a fresher. So they told me that since Goa is a remote location, companies tend not to come from metros, and I will not have sufficient opportunities for placements at Delhi. So is that the case?
यार इसका सीधा आंसर तो नहीं है. Let's be very honest about it. Okay, I am Delhi based, and there's no straight answer to this, because companies depend. I mean, the locations don't depend on companies. The locations depend on requirements, right? So different companies have different sets of their own offices spread across, right? I'm coming. Maybe I want to hire for sales, but my problem is that my sales are doing really well in the north, and they are not doing so well in the south. So even if I am a Gurgaon headquartered company, I'm going to hire for Andhra, right? At the same time, maybe I'm somebody like a Bain or one of those companies. Maybe I'm a Deloitte, right? This knowledge center is based out of Gurgaon. So irrespective of which office I'm coming from, whether it's Deloitte, Mumbai or whatever, chances are that you're going to end up getting Gurgaon, right? So I know where this question is coming from, because this question is largely coming from the fact that your Delhi parents, much like my Delhi parents, are asking you to stay at home. Okay, yeah. So देखो मतलब okay, I'll get down to this in a very Delhi way. Tell them that लड़की हाथ से नहीं जा रही है, ठीक है? मतलब she's not gonna end up leaving home forever. अभी तो नहीं, चलो ठीक है. That's one part of it. Second part of it, yes, go. देखो every Delhi के लिए ना Goa is very remote till you actually go there with your friends. ठीक? तो पेरेंट्स के लिए इट्स अ टबू लोकेशन, कि यहाँ पर वो सब होता है जिसको हमने लड़की को बड़ा किया था कि ये सब नहीं करना है, राइट? सो यू काइंड ऑफ नीड टू गेट देम अ लिटिल आउट ऑफ दैट माइंड स्पेस कि लिसन गाइस, हाँ, आई मीन यस आई अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज वेरी स्कैरी फॉर यू, बट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट irrespective of whether अगर आप even if you end up in an IMI Delhi or in a Delhi based college and maybe in a 4 or everything, there is no guarantee that you're going to get a location, right? Because locations, like I mentioned, are role specific. Roles are requirement specific, right? So if I have to give you a gist of it, most of our batchmates who are from Delhi, including me, are all in Delhi now. If that answers and comforts you in any
way. It does. I think it will comfort my parents more.
See, there we go. Yeah, absolutely. I knew where the question was coming from. I was so sure. I'm like, हाँ, एक ही जगह से आ रहा है question, तो ठीक है.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries. Yes, Akhilesh and Maitri, I'm gonna give you awards for persistence. Yes, Akhilesh, go.
Yeah, so I just developed a new question when Navya was
developed a new question. What is wrong with you? I'm just kidding.
I mean, I came up with it. So, like she said that the Delhi-based thing. I'm also from Delhi.
Arey.
And I was also confused between a Delhi-based college and Goa-based college.
Okay, guys,
So,
majority of the colleges, you can't make sure where you end up. So if you're going to a B school, you shouldn't be looking for where you get a job. That's the
yeah, so
last thing. You end up in Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, anywhere. You
All
shouldn't be
over the place.
considering the place
I'll be more
for
than
an
happy
MBA.
to escape Delhi. Actually, I do
I've
want
been in
to.
Guwahati,
Delhi.
Belgaum, Bangalore, and now in Delhi. Kya keh rahe ho?
Oh,
Yeah, stuck in
so
Delhi. Everyone wants to go to Bangalore now. Come on.
I swear. Yeah, go on.
my question was actually, do companies feel hesitant in coming all the way to Goa? Like, is there a
No,
location disadvantage?
no, there isn't. This was actually true during the time when we had the Raibandar campus because things were just starting up. This is early 90s I'm talking about, when GIM as a brand wasn't known. But largely the placements, that is, okay, understand this, in most B schools, 99% of the B schools, the placements are driven by alumni, right? And alumni base takes a little time establishing a name for themselves, right? GIM Alumni is pretty well known. I'm not even making it up. I don't need to make it up. You can simply go on LinkedIn and figure it out. Most of our placements and most of the companies that come on campus, they turn up year after year. These are legacy companies almost, which have been turning up in campus since ages now, right? They have extremely good relations with us, simple to the fact that somebody ended up either a batch before or maybe 3 batches before you in that company, and they did a fabulous job, right? So that's perception one. Perception two is the same as I told Navya. Irrespective of whether you go in India, if it's a B school, you cannot be sure of location, right? So that I understand that parents are apprehensive, and they have a right to be apprehensive. Matlab, theek hai. It's what makes them parents, right? But at the same time, tackle it, right? Tackle it well, and yeah, prove them wrong. Either way, it's a couple of years ka game hai. Ya to wo sahi hai कि तुम बिल्कुल ही हाथ से निकल के you turned out to be one of those kids, oh my god, इसीलिए नहीं गोवा भेजना था, or you came back home and you proved them right कि this is, listen dude, everybody is going to Goa from my society now जिसने अब MBA करा है. So yeah, do that, right?
All right. And my second question would be, like, we didn't speak about a career in advertising, PR, or something like brand management. Like, what is the scope of that in the college? Do companies come for those roles?
They do, but these are not junior level or entry level roles. Okay, roles are specified with what is considered an entry level role, what is considered an experienced role, what is considered with respect to your relevant experience that Harnish spoke about, right? So there is irrelevant and there is irrelevant experience. Brand manager as a role is typically confined to the upper tier 1 colleges in India. Let me be very honest with you. Okay. These are not roles. So MICAs and IIMs, ABC, LIK, a brand manager role would probably end at these 8, 10, 11, 15 colleges at max in India, right? And we are talking from a pool of about 536, 538 B schools in India, right? So no, they don't. Roles in advertising and PR are extremely specific, right? So you're talking essentially about specialization like a public relations or a digital marketing, things that are taught as electives but are not offered as genuine majors, right? So if that, I'm just giving a scenario, if that remains your ultimate aim, you may choose to enter into one of the smartest things that a lot of people will do is they will enter into a sales role with a bigger company as such who has a thriving marketing arm, work in the sales role for a couple of years, understand the front line of understand the top line, bottom line, move into a marketing role. That's the typical route that is followed with marketing.
Okay. And no chance of any advertising agency coming up, and like, do they hire?
I wouldn't rule out a chance. That's exactly what I'm coming to. I wouldn't rule out a chance because every year tons and tons of new companies do turn up, but I wouldn't hedge my bets on it.
All right.
So just 1 second, Satyajit. So there are few companies that do come on campus, maybe not specifically for advertising roles, but those are the companies. So you have companies like Kantar, right? IMRB.
Oh, right.
You have Nielsen. So there are people who do get placed in these as well.
Okay. Okay. I'll
but these are not brand manager profiles.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
just
anything
being
which would just, just give me an entry into, let's say.
Yes, so that might propel you into that system, and then you can maybe.
I mean, let's be frank. I mean, 95% of the brand managers, they start from the sales, right?
Sales background.
Even if they are from the top IIMs, they have to start from the sales to become a good brand manager.
Sales, yes.
All right.
Ideally, you never end up in a brand management role unless you know the front line of the company.
Yeah.
That's almost never the case.
All right. Yeah, that's logical. Yeah. And my third question, my last question, small question. How, so I'm going to be in the college, I'm going to be interacting with a lot of BDA people as well. And I might, start growing a little inclination towards, this analytical profile seems to be really good. This career in BDA seems to be really good. What are the chances of a core PGDM person to get a job in the BDA profile or something? Like, are there any electives which we can take up later?
So these are two different questions then you're asking. From a purely placement perspective, nil, simply because you're not going to be interacting and having the process the same as BDAs, because these are different. When it comes to electives, you may, however, have a couple of overlapping subjects. Like, for example, business analytics is one subject that we do study. B2B is there, project management is there, so on and so forth. So you may study aspects of BDA and certain other analytical tools, but I wouldn't count on it again.
Okay, so like the placement or like the companies which are coming for a BDA profile, they're going to entertain only the BDA people. They're not going to be like, okay, fine, if a co-person going to join in. All right. Like, I mean, I'm just saying that if, let's say I develop an inclination towards it and I try to do courses, BDA specific courses from online courses, something outside the college, because obviously the college is not going to provide me those courses. And I develop a profile around BDA of myself. So are the companies coming for BDA profile going to entertain a core person, or am I going to have to be rely on?
Because the simple answer to that would be no, simple, because you're never going to be interacting with companies which are coming for BDA because you're not part of the BDA batch, because the process is very different, right? So you may do out of your own volition and your own gravitas. That is completely fine. But again, I wouldn't recommend to do that from a placement perspective. You can do it for, right.
Oh, yeah.
And Akhilesh, adding to that, this will be the time, when your decisions will be there throughout your life. Okay, you can't change your decisions every now and then. Once you're through with the first and second semester of the MBA, right? So certain decisions you will take, and those decisions will be there for you throughout your life.
All right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I
Yes. Abhimanyu, I'm going to take a question over on the group. If you can post it quickly.
Sir, I'll take only 1 minute, sir.
I know you're going to take 1 minute.
Half minute, sir. Sir, half minute.
I know you're going to take 10 seconds.
It's very interesting, sir. Sir, only half minute.
Question.
Yeah, sir.
Actually,
okay, sorry.
Whoa, wait, Maitri. Yeah, Maitri. Floor is all yours. Sab shant ho gaya.
Okay, so I just have a few questions. I'll be quick. One of them is for you. You quoted, understand how the market works, right? So, when you were answering something, so you said, understand how the market works. So how exactly does someone who has no idea how the market works understand how the market works?
You read articles, you read journals, you read newspapers, you read things like Financial Times, which is extremely boring. You read pages like Economic Times, which is extremely boring. You read the business standards, you read subscriptions that a college has taken, which are extremely boring. You read the boring stuff, you understand how the market works. One of the easier ways of doing this is through your apps, right? So you can nowadays configure your apps in such a way that you only get certain business or rather certain aspects of news to deliver directly to your screen, right? That would be other way. But honestly, both Navneet and Harnish pointed this out. Being updated with how the scenario plays out gives you the advantage or the cutting edge that no subject can give you. If somebody is updated with the current times and they understand how the market is looking like, see, there's the term again. With respect to the current happenings, they're 50%. Their life is 50% simple in a B school.
Okay. And my next question is for HCM related. This is HCM related. How it's a course, right? It's healthcare management course. So if I want to maybe build up my profile to be HR specific, I can do that as opposed to a PGDM core course wherein my specialization for the whole second year, which would be HR, right? I do have that flexibility.
No. Once you are in HCM, you have their specific domains which are related to healthcare only. There would be a couple of electives, couple of courses during your second years, but the opportunities in HR would be very minimal. I will honestly say null, no opportunities would be there for HCM people in HR domain. So I feel like
It's a
no
separate
such a
specialization, like Divy said.
it's a separate domain. Yeah.
There's no overlap.
Okay, and one last question. Being graduating with an HCM profile, how easy or difficult or moderate would it be to go, on site if I get into some maybe IT or consulting company?
Yeah, so once you are into the IT consulting role, it would be similar to other domains. Like if you are working as a consultant, so if you have a project on site, you will get your opportunities to go there.
Okay.
It's similar to other domains.
Okay, and last generic question: is there any transportation provided by the college, or you just have to keep your own vehicle?
Kaisa wala? I mean, what kind of transport?
Like, I mean, there's, in one of the colleges, there is this bus which goes at 4 p.m. and comes back at 7 p.m. So if you want to go to the city, you can go. Aisa kuch nahi hai. You just have to do stuff on your own.
Kuch nahi hai, zero. But there are.
Yeah, there's very few chances that you get a time to go to the city.
Exactly.
You're very busy and you are in the campus. So yeah, even I would like to point it out, something that our director always says, and whosoever parents are also very scared about the fact that we are going to Goa and stuff like that. You are going to GIM. Okay, just be very clear about the fact you're going to GIM. Yeah, Goa is a big factor. You get the time, you enjoy, but you are majority. When I say majority, almost all the time you are inside campus. You are too busy to step outside the campus.
90%, 95%. First year में तो chance नहीं है.
हाँ तो वो
city के बाद या कभी भी अगर for necessities भी जाना हो, so we have to manage
local transport. Yeah.
You'll have local transport. You
will get necessities on campus.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is on campus. You step out of campus only when you want to.
Correct.
Like deliberately.
You
You have to make time for it very, very difficult way. Like you actually do not have time to go out.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Suchita and then Abhimanyu. Okay, I'm going to take one question. So तुमने promise किया 10 seconds का होगा, है ना? Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Suchita, go.
Okay, hi, I'm Suchita. So I've done my B.Pharm and then I have around 2 years of experience in pharmaceutical companies. But I have joined PGTM course. So like I have an inclination towards HR or marketing sort of, but I'm not like quite sure what exactly I want to do. Also, like my pharma background, will it affect like meaning taking core like and not selecting HCM?
No, like we have mentioned time and again, your UG plays no role, honestly. If you are thorough with what you've chosen as the core and your specialization, your UG will never come into the picture. We have seen people from arts background graduating with finance and operations and so on and so forth, right? So your UG plays no role. You need to be, what our advice would be that since you've chosen PGTM core and you're keeping your options open between HR, marketing and so on and so forth, like we mentioned to a lot of people earlier, keep your options open, look at the subjects, look at the kind of roles that you would probably want to be comfortable working with in the future, and then accordingly decide. So you don't need to take a call right now.
Okay. Also, you said like within the first 3 months, we get a clear picture of what we actually want to do. But this year, we might have online classes for the first 3 months. So will that affect like, because we won't have peer-to-peer, face-to-face learning?
No. Yes. It does not affect. It does not affect the timeline that we've kind of given you guys, the 3 months kind of a thing. It does not affect that. It does not take away the fact that it's going to be grueling. It does not take away the fact that it's going to be a very hectic schedule. That those are not things that remain changed. Yes, What does change is your campus as an experience. What does affect is the fact that you're still at the comforts of your home and you're not facing the challenges of living alone and so on and so forth. So barring those physical aspects, really nothing changes.
But like within these 3 months, we might get a clear picture of like what exactly we want to do, right?
Absolutely.
Because I'm actually clueless about what to do.
Yeah. Be clueless. It won't matter. Very honestly, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. You'll get a very good idea about what you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Abhimanyu, yes, 10 seconds. Let's go.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask about student activities club. So I have like shortlisted like 3 clubs which I'm very much interested to get into. Like what is I'm damn sure that there might be a definite process to get into the clubs through some interviews and everything. But actually what I want to know is that what was your schedule and how did you manage everything? Can you please brief us about that? That like what time did you used to get up and how long your day was, like if it was like 18 hours long and you had a sleep of only sometimes 5 hours or 6 hours.
Exactly 8 to 9 minutes before your class begins. उससे पहले
sometimes 2 minutes.
Sometimes 2 minutes. अगर तुम classroom के पास हो तो in 2 minutes. अगर तुम classroom से दूर हो, give yourself a 7 to 8 minute window जिसमें तुम्हें 3 चीजें करनी है. तुम्हें brush करना है, तुम्हें कॉपी उठानी है, तुम्हें चप्पल पहनना है और तुम्हें भागना है. Right? So the last two steps are 1.
I don't think कोई schedule जैसा कुछ था, right? You take things as and when they come. There's no schedule in B school.
There's no schedule.
There's no schedule.
Absolutely.
The only schedule is no schedule.
No schedule.
Yeah, you take the things as and when they come, right?
And like how many clubs can one manage, like like to contribute in the clubs? And
you'll be part of only one club, not more than that.
Okay, so only part of one club.
One club, right. 2 committees/societies.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now the rest of the things is very subjective to where you want to go. That will be explained at a later time.
Later on. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. I think that pretty much covers it. Sapan, I am okay. All right. But why should you be left behind? Bolo.
Hello. I just have one small doubt. Like nobody has until talked for general management. I don't want that in detail, but just the question was like, do companies hire someone with general management as a major? Like, do we stand a chance for it?
Yeah. So wait one second. The profiles that come to the campus, they are not basis the they are not basis the subjects that are taught. So for example, let's say you picked up general management and in that general management, among the many electives that you have, you picked up something called a project management, right? Now if there's a company on campus which has come for a project management role, they'll pick you up since you have studied that role, since you have an idea. So okay, I don't know if this is a common note. Guys, realize that there are no companies which are coming for a general management, because general management, what means is that now you're flexible either which way, right? You have the necessary skill set knowledge to be in multiple positions. At the same time, you want to appear as a generalist. You don't want to narrow down your own career path. And there's no right and wrong answer to this, okay? So that's a completely choice that is basis up to you. If you display the necessary knowledge that is needed for a certain profile to be fulfilled or a certain role to be hired for, you are in.
Okay, so is there anyone here from alumni who has done majors in general management, chosen more of general management type of thing?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, no issues. Thank you.
Actually, I'll tell you what. When you kind of encounter subjects, you will realize that you automatically are inclined towards a certain feature or a part of a stream, right? So typically, people who start thinking general end up narrowing themselves down.
And I think general management is a fairly new concept, because I don't think we had this as a major, right? And
not you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the degree that you will get, I think, will say general management. So
Yeah, I mean, for our time, I mean, whether we are a finance major, whether we are a marketing major, the degrees that all of us got was a PGDM. On the degree, there was no mention of, you know, you are a finance major or you're a marketing major. For us, I can't say about the current batches.
No,
but
it's the same. It's still the same.
Yeah.
The degree is PGDM. It's
So
not.
finance major and marketing major is mainly because of, you know, the shortlisting for the companies who are coming on the campus to, you know, shortlist. If somebody wants to find more inclination towards finance, so the placecom can say, okay, these guys are there who are majoring in finance, but there's no mention on the degree.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. I think Suchita, is there a question or is your hand perpetually raised?
No, that is fine.
Wow. Almost a horror show. Okay, all right. Great. Thank you so much for bearing with us. We're going to end the session very quickly. Panelists, I need one-line advice that you would want to impart to this batch. Very, very, very quickly, if we can take it okay in the order that I see. Navneet, your one-liner.
Yeah, so I don't know if there are any Game of Thrones fans here, but I will say, what do we say to the god of stress for placement today?
Not today.
That's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Srishti, let's go.
I think I'll just continue what we have been saying. Sleep as much as you want right now, because once you are in B school, there's no sleep. I mean, if you have time to sleep in a B school, you're not doing it right. So just sleep now, and for the next 2 years, be busy in anything and everything.
Divy.
Yeah, so B school is the place where you want to explore yourself. So just go out, upgrade yourself, and learn new things, and learn few if required, and be the better version of yourself at the end of this amazing 2 years. That's all. All the best.
Saket.
So yeah, this is probably the last time you'll ever go to college in your life, unless you do a PhD, which is great. So live out these 2 years. These are the times that you will remember. These are the memories that you will talk about 10 years, 20 years down the line. So make sure you have some good time over there.
Poulami.
Pray to God you get entire 2 years in the campus, and this 2 years are not going to come back, especially with the selected few, because you're getting to do MBA in Goa. Not everyone gets to do that. So enjoy your 2 years and have fun.
Harnish, you're up.
All of you are going to have the time of your life. So right now, most of you are doing MBA because to get into corporate. Once you get into corporate, you'll actually miss these 2 years of your life. You would want to get back to the MBA days. Nice. That's the reality. Yeah. So enjoy.
Right, guys. Stay hungry, stay foolish. That's typically me, right? And speaking of hunger, I think all of us are waiting for dinner. So that came very naturally to me. Okay, one last thing we're going to do before I request everyone over here to switch on their cameras. We're going to do a group photo. The rumor has it that we have to dab. I don't know if the rumors are correct, but yeah, guys, can we have your cameras switched on? हम में से कोई branded कपड़ों में नहीं है, so chill. It's all cool, really. We're all sitting at home chilling. Nobody's going to judge you, not yet. You're going to get judged plenty when you come to campus. So, yeah. Great to see your faces, which are going to soon turn miserable. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right. I have no idea where the admins are. Yes, admins, do you want us to dab? Do you want us to Wakanda forever? Do you want us to, I don't know, moonwalk?
Please dab and I'll take the snap.
I couldn't hear you, Devo. You need to be louder.
Satra, let's dab and then I'll take the snap.
But if I dab, my face is not going to be there, right? And my face is what is going to get you likes. So,
okay.
What do you
make sure that face is visible, huh?
Okay. Right, guys. So your faces have to be visible. Mera more than tumhara. Between us, I'm more famous. So that. But yeah, okay. We dab. सबको पता है ना left या right dab करना है. ऐसे भी कुछ questions हैं अभी. किधर dab करना है sir?
Left.
Left. See, ये ऐसा वाला left. See, left hand. Good job.
Start.
Start. Fuck man. Did we click?
Done.
सब उल्टा कर रहे हैं, but did we click? अच्छा, ठीक है. Okay.
One last question. When will we get gym t-shirts?
नहीं मिलेगा. अभी श्री हर्षा वक्कलंका. बस. I noted your name down. I'm going to send this across to the PR. I'm going to make sure you don't get a t-shirt. The merchandises come in really soon. So relax. They're going to tell you. They're also going to tell you the rates, including delivery charges. Because you are at home. So
Harnish can do that too. वही पहनता है.
Listen, Shriyar, order 2. I'm going to give you my address as well. Like, मेरे लिए भी भिजवा देना. Great, awesome. Right, guys, thank you so very much. We've reached the end of the session. It's been lovely talking to you. I hope most of you enjoy campus. I thank the panelists as well. Taking time out on Sundays isn't easy. I know everybody has office tomorrow. तुम लोग तो नहीं, तुम लोग तो सो गए. Useless bunch of people. But us, we got no, but thank you so much. It's longer than we thought, so we thank you for the patience. Everybody on YouTube as well, thank you for joining us. Once again, NavKiran for the platform. Over to you, Devo.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, Satra, for hosting this session so well. Okay. And thank you, everyone, for having patience for next 3 hours. Like some of them actually mentioned in the group that it's a Karan Johar movie going on. But thank you so much for that. And yes, I'm sure that all of you will be enjoying your next 2 years soon. And we just all hope that you guys soon get to enjoy the campus life of GIM. That's it from the NavKiran's end, and we are gonna bring more such sessions in future. Stay in touch. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye. All the best.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.